Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
This week, in Davie, Florida, an evening of TV watching suddenly turns into a bloodbath when a man wearing a ninja mask and a cowboy hat begins the systematic slaughter of a household. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on this insane edition of Small Town Murder. Crazier every week, it seems like, and this week is no exception. We're going to get into just weird stuff. That's all I have to say. I mean, there's a ninja mask involved, so do I need to say more? It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Before we get to the show, very quickly, thank you for everything. Thank you for coming out to live shows. Two more regular live shows left this year, and then we're going to announce a whole slate of new ones for 2023. But head over to shutupandgivememurder.com and get tickets to the virtual live show.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. We cannot wait. October the 27th, Halloween weekend. And I
can't believe it's coming up so fast.
So fast. It'll be available for 7 days afterwards, too. So you can get it anytime during that week. You can watch it 10 times. You'll do whatever you want with it for a week, basically. There. Get that. Just like a regular live show. Always wanted to come to a live show. We're not near you. Come to this. Same exact thing, except you're kind of in your living room instead of a theater. But other than that, it's the same thing.
See us there.
You will see us. Same thing. It's going to be just so much fun. We cannot wait. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com is where you get those tickets, or moment.co/smalltownmurder. Either one. So that, and also Patreon. You want to do Patreon. So much fun on Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, a cup of coffee or more, you will
so affordable.
You will get everything, including the whole back catalog. It's binge worthy. There's over 100 episodes. You can binge on that, and then on top of that, you're going to get a new 2 new episodes every other week. One crime and sports, one small town murder, and you get access to it all. This week, what we're going to talk about, not a lot of sports for crime and sports. It's mainly crime. We're going to talk about a mafioso who bought his son a hockey team, a minor league hockey team. And then there's so much crime and federal involvement. The Danbury Trashers. There's a documentary about it. It's hilarious. It's a really weird story. We'll talk about that. Then for small town murder, we're going to talk about one that, God, people have been asking us since we started to talk about. We're going to talk about the whole entire Heyman Lee serial Adnan Syed case now that Adnan got released. We're going to talk about what do we think about this whole thing. We will give our opinions, and I have studied this so thoroughly, it's ridiculous. So I have a lot of very detailed opinions, and I know Jimmie does as well. So we're going to give you who we think the killer could be and whatever. So there you go. Check that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And that will get you a shout out as well.
It absolutely will.
Your name will be butchered at the end of the show by Jimmie, unfortunately, even though he wants to get it correct. So that said, I think it's time for the disclaimer. It's a comedy show.
It is.
We do a comedy show. There is murder here. Well, there's terrible murder, and there's ways around that. It's not because I think the real heavy ones sometimes. A real solemn, and then he cut her head off. It seems even creepier for some. Well, not even fun. Makes it even weirder for some reason. Makes it seem like whatever. So we try to lighten the mood a little bit around it. But what we don't do is we never make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why, James?
Because we're assholes.
But
we're not scumbags, everybody.
There
and
you have
that sounds good to you. We are going to hear a crazy story of some wild murder. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, even, I don't know. Well, maybe we're not for you. Maybe we are. I don't know. Either way, no complaining later if you check it out. We warned you. So with that said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back, clear the lungs of wherever you are, not too public of a place, I would hope. Maybe your living room or something like that. Sit back and shout, Shut up and give me murder. All right, let's do this, Jimmie.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Let's do it.
We are going to Florida this week.
Again?
We just got, not on the show, but in real life, we just got back from Florida. And as we're recording this, a hurricane is pummeling Florida. And this isn't on purpose. We do the schedule ahead of time, and this is the story that's done, and this is what we have to do. So we try to do we usually do a state after we get back from it on tour. We'll do that because then it's like, hey, we have a little insight because we were just there. And so whatever. But yeah, we're not trying to.
Keith, Kyle, Katrina, Hope, and Nick, I hope you're safe. Jesus Christ.
Not trying to kick anybody while they're down.
Yeah.
And then there's a hurricane too. So it's rough. You know what I mean? That's with the Florida people in general. So it's rough. Yeah. So we're going to Davie, Florida. Now, people are going to say in Florida, there are people typing on social media before they listen to the show. Before they even listen, that's not a small town. That's not a small town. I know it's not a small town now. Yeah. Now it's not a small town, but now is not when the murder happened. This was a very fast-growing area. It's outside of Miami, so now it's kind of connected to the Miami metropolitan area. It's by Hollywood, Florida. It's right by there.
Oh.
But at the same time, back in the 70s and 80s when these different murders occurred, there was hardly anybody there. In the 70s, there was less than 20,000 people there. And then in the late 80s, there was less than 40,000 people there. So qualified for our small town. It was it was like horse farms. There was nothing to do with like a metropolitan area. Now it's suburbia, but it wasn't then. So
delete your tweet.
There you go. Davie, Florida. It was known as Cowboy Town back then. Yeah. So that's how not metropolitan and urban it was. It's
Cowboy Town, Florida.
Cowboy Town, which is what you think of in Florida as cowboys. You don't think of cowboys. And if it's a cowboy hat, it's like one of those weird kind of curled up sides with it's made out of like a skin of a reptile or an amphibian or something.
Or it's made out of a case of fucking Budweiser.
Something like that. Yeah. Something. Case of Natty Lights, just Natty Light cardboard.
And it's just to keep the sun off your fucking neck.
That's
and
all
stop
it is.
Giving you cancer.
Made a hat out of Natty Lights, and people are like, "It's a good move. It's a good move." It's in southeastern Florida, just outside Miami, like we said. It's about 20 minutes to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah.
About 35 minutes to Miami. And like it was this middle of nowhere place back then. It's about 4.5 hours to St. Augustine, Florida, which is our last Florida episode. And that was the soft serial killer. And it's exactly what it sounds like. And that was a crazy-ass episode. This is in Broward County, a couple different area codes, 754, 954. Now, a little bit of history here. This place was kind of founded as a town by people named Tamara Toussaint and Jake Tannenbaum. Toussaint and Jake Tannenbaum. The original name was Zona. Zona.
Really?
Yeah, like Arizona without the ara. R.P. Davie, this one guy, assisted then Florida Governor Napoleon Bonaparte Broward.
Stop it.
Don't elect people. Okay,
Why would they?
I don't know if that guy was a good governor or whatever, but generally, if a person's name is like an aggressive dictator, don't vote for them. Like first and middle or last, if they're named after that, I feel like probably they were raised in a weird, strange way.
If a man named Pol Pot Wilson runs for governor of Cleveland, don't vote for that man.
Well, but Idi Amin Martinez has done a fine job in New Mexico, from what I hear. I hear he's brought things around better than expected. Honestly, nobody expected it to go this well for old Idi Amin Martinez, but he's doing phenomenally down there.
Why would they do that?
Idi Amin Hernandez, the new mayor of El Paso, I hear. He just was elected. So I don't know. Either way, these two, R.P. Davie and Mr. Bonaparte Broward here, they were the guys who drained the swamplands. How? Beats the shit out of me. A lot of paper towels. I don't know. I don't know. I can't even siphon gasoline.
Upper, James.
Yeah,
we're told.
You'd need a lot. If you'd layer it.
I think they suck.
I think so. There we go. Okay.
I got it going.
But then you just make a swap somewhere else, wouldn't you? Wherever you put it.
Yeah.
Wherever the hose goes.
There's no bath plug at the bottom. You can't just pull it and let it drain.
I guess so. Well, either way, once they got it all out, Robert Parcel Davie, who was R.P. Davie, he bought 27,000 acres in this joint.
Okay.
And he built a school there and everything else. And this was when it was Zona at the time. So the people in 1916 were so grateful that they renamed the town after him.
Thank you, Mr. Davies.
You've done so well here. It was mostly underwater to begin with, this place, because it's part of the Everglades. And it always had a reputation. It had a reputation. Well, the next word is Western that I was saying, so that's where I got my letters mixed up. But it had a reputation as a Western town with many earlier. Basically, they had Wild West architecture, that, which didn't really fit into Florida, which was all
just like
Spanish
wood and
architecture.
Shit?
Yeah. The look of the buildings, it looked like Tombstone there. That's how they built it, which was very strange, like old Tucson Studios or something. And it had everybody there had horses. Everybody there rode horses around. They had cattle. This was like you were living in, the Old West or something down there.
But it's all wet. Wouldn't that break your horse's ankle, you think?
Well, they somehow siphoned it up, Jimmy. It is the quicker picker upper. I'm telling you.
Hilarious.
They had the ones where you can rip the regular size one in half and choose your size, and
choose your square.
It was no match for those paper towels. So it still had a real Western feel, basically, to the whole thing here. The population has skyrocketed in the last 30 years or so. Right now, it's the most populous municipality labeled as a town in Florida. Is
that right?
There are the top 3 places in the United States that are still towns that have huge populations are Cary.
Take that, Reno.
Well, Cary, North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, and Gilbert, Arizona, which you know very well, in Arizona there by Phoenix, and then this place, Davie. So let's get to some reviews here of this joint. See what we got going on.
Let's do it.
All right, here's some reviews. Now, like I said, this is current reviews, so this is mainly just for comedy. Here we go. 5 stars. Davie is a very interesting place to live in. Exclamation point there. It's very diverse and has a lot to offer, such as local universities like Nova Southeastern University, Broward College, and even an extension site of the University of Florida. But another thing that Davie has to offer is its rural farmland type feel, but it's also suburban type feel. It's and not only is it diverse in the way it looks, but there's all types of different people in Davie. Though the majority of people are white, the other half is made up of Hispanics and African Americans. No punctuation whatsoever in any of that. Woof.
That's why it's confusing.
So hard to do. And these are just some of the reasons I love living in Davie. All right, 4 stars. In this city, the atmosphere is beautiful. We have a good diversity in neighborhoods, such as my neighborhood, which, till this very day, I have made good friends, especially a person named James Martin, since the 1st grade. And what I like to see improve the city is a little bit more affordability with houses. Hi, James Martin.
Shout out, James.
She gave a positive review to a single person.
To James Martin.
How specific is that? I don't know about the rest of the town, but there's a guy named James Martin there. It's a hell of a fella. So, good place.
Known him a long time.
Wow. 3 stars. I've lived in Davie 22 years, since 1996. Until about 2 years ago, it was really quite an excellent little town. Then suddenly, the city started allowing thousands upon thousands of rental apartment units to be constructed. Some parts of Davie have always had traffic issues, but once these apartments are occupied, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. I have no idea.
Forecasting.
It's fine now, but I have no idea what city officials were thinking, but they are in the process of ruining a very nice little community.
Where are all these people going to drive?
Where are they going to go? 2 stars. Maybe this is the traffic has gotten worse now. Now it's bad. This is an update possibly. 2 stars. There is a lot of homeless people and trash around. Okay. Many of the homeless people around are very poor. Well, probably all of them, I would assume, as a matter of fact. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Every last one of them.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Probably not a lot of eccentric millionaires just living on the street because they're weird. Probably not.
Begging for a burrito.
Not too many, I would assume. So I'm going to go with most of them. Oh, this is better. Many of the homeless people around are very poor, and they are usually naked. Well, that makes it much better. No wonder why they're poor. Where are they going to put any money? They don't have pockets.
They are also homeless, naked people here.
Yeah, well, I would assume they're poor also if they don't even have clothes.
They don't even have a shirt.
It's not, yeah, if you don't have socks, you definitely not even. I mean, no one in Florida has a shirt, but they have. Yeah. There's like 8 shirts in the whole state that they trade when they have to go to court. That's how Florida works. He's got to go to court, and you got to mail it to someone with their next court date. There's only 8 shirts, but everyone has a lot of shorts.
Chikatilo. That guy went to court in a fucking government Olympic shirt. It just had Olympic shit all over it.
What are you wearing? That's hilarious. So people in this town, nowadays, it is 106,621 people.
Holy fuck.
It has spiked. In 1980, there was 20,000 people here.
In 40 years, it went nuts.
And some of our stuff is in the mid-70s where there was even less people than 20,000. Mm-hmm. And then some of our stuff is in the 80s where there was about 40,000 people there. So
fascinating.
Still out there in both of our places. So calm down, everybody saying it's not a small town. We assure you it was. So few more females than males. Most of the age groups here are like 25 to 34, 45 to 54, that sort of thing. Those seem to be the age groups. Married population's lower than normal.
Okay.
By a few percentage points, nothing crazy. Single people with no children is actually about usual, about normal. It's kind of a suburban type of place here. Pretty average in terms of stats. Race of this town, 46.4% white, 8.4% black, 5.5% Asian, 36.8% Hispanic. So it's pretty spread around there. Religion in this town, 37% religious, which is lower than the national average. And the most here are Catholics, which is
Is that right?
Because there's so many Hispanic people, so they're going to get more Catholics. And other than that, they're not the Baptists of the South down here. No. We do get 1.3% Jewish. Oh, my God. It's been so long. I know even less words. We get to sing it, though. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey. Jimmie's singing Cypress Hill backup. I like that. Tequila. Good move. I like that.
Like send dog.
Yeah, there you go. It's just send dog it up, man. In Broward County, where Miami is too, politically, 64.5% Democratic in the last election, 34.7% Republican, 0.8% Independent. The unemployment rate's pretty low around here. Pretty lower than the national average, which is pretty low anyway right now. Median household income a little bit higher than normal. Right now it's about $57,000. Here it is $64,170. So
great.
A little bit more cost of living though, a little bit higher. 100's regular, average here it's 118. So a little high.
Is that right?
Housing a little higher than that. Median home cost here at this point $387,000. So
oh my God, that's
a little higher than normal.
Crazy.
And a lot of that is because a lot of the properties are bigger than normal properties in Florida.
Some land.
Because it was started out as like a horse area. So a lot of these properties are an acre, half acre, acre and a half, things like that, rather than like, these crammed in like track housing type things that are more in the suburbs here. So if we've convinced you, damn it, you need to go to Cowboy Town, Florida, USA. We have for you the Davie, Florida Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for $1,591. That's above the national average. It's a little pricey. It's a little pricey. It goes along with the housing. Now, I tried to find some bargain housing here, okay? I found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,200 square foot. It's a trailer. It's one of those trailers that doesn't look like you could tow it away. It's got like it's got like the
it looks set.
It looks set. There's stuff around the bottom of it and like a garden and shit. It looks like it's been there and it's supposed to be there. And no one just drug it in from the road last week and planted it. Been a while. It's up to date. Everything inside. It's clean. It's nice. $100,000 for this thing.
Is that right?
Yes. Now, I don't know if that includes the lot it's on or if that's just the trailer and you got to pay lot rent and all that. I'm not sure how that works. Now, this next one, though, you get the lot that it's on and everything. It's a package deal. It's a huge trailer, this next one. It's the biggest trailer I ever heard of. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square foot trailer.
That's big.
Is that a triple wide? I never heard of that before, but
how do you get it that big?
Let me get me one of them triple stacks, would you? I don't know, but it looks fancy though. Inside, it's all remodeled, really nice. Yeah. It's really nice inside. It's a beautiful place. $195,995.
Not bad.
Not bad. Now, let's say you've done real well. You have like a nightclub in Miami that you own or something. You want to get away on your weekend house. I found a 5-bedroom, 7-bath, T-bowl for each and every B-hole and then some. 10,648 square foot. Insane house. It looks like where you would, I'm sure it's just a line of porns being made in it all day long. It's one of those houses. It's a house for a successful porn producer from Miami. It's got a sick complex of like pools and jacuzzis and water things that go into each other. It's bonkers. $5,960,000 for that.
God.
Anywhere from $100,000 to $6 million, we can get you in there. So there you go.
That's incredible.
So things to do here in Davie, Florida. Well, then, I mean, obviously, you can go to Miami, which is like a half hour away.
It's right there, yeah.
Plenty of stuff to do.
Drinking, that's always something to do.
Or you can hang on to that energy till February and go to the Town of Davie Orange Blossom Festival, Parade, and Rodeo.
Yeah, and rodeo.
This place has a definite, still tries to keep that like Western theme to it.
Okay.
It's got like a cowboy boots and a hat as their little logo and everything. They're going to have a movie in the park. The first night here. Join us as we kick off Orange Blossom. The off is spelled of. That's why I fucked that up. Yeah. With an evening of family fun. Enjoy an excerpt of State of Rodeo. Okay, and our feature Disney film Jungle Cruise. Okay, there you go. So you get that. You can come, bring your blankets, hang out. Then Saturday it's on though. That's when you're going to have rides and arts and crafts, vendors. Cowboy Town historical display.
Hey
now, the 4-H farmers market, all sorts of live music, the laser light show. Oh man, this is a good place to take some mushrooms. Let me tell you something. I would love to go here and
take some mushrooms and ride a horse.
Take some mushrooms, fall off a horse, and then watch a laser light show and wonder if it's really happening or if I've just fucking messed my neurons up enough to screw it all up here.
And watch The Rock movie.
That's it. Just watch The Rock. Food and beverage available for purchase. The parade grand marshal is TC and Dina B from Kiss Country 99.9 to radio people.
The morning radio folks will be there. You'll see their faces and it'll appall you.
You got them. Who's going to be performing? Well,
I can't wait.
We have Remedy, Remade, Remedy.
It's Remedy.
Mr. Nice Guy will be there. That's helpful. The new Shadow Creek. That sounds like a winery, right? It sounds like a place you go that has it's like an inn where they have wine. Jacob Velasquez, he'll be there. Thank God for that. And then you got to close the whole thing out with the South Florida Cloggers. They're going to be there. So, and once
I wonder if Jake Velasquez is the guy that plays guitar for a lot of bands. He's really. Probably not.
Fuck knows. What are we digging into this? Get out of here. So
I want to know.
And as soon as that wraps up, that's when the Red, White, and Country Laser Show starts.
That doesn't rhyme.
Red, White, and Country Laser Show. Thank you, Davie, Florida. But you can have all that. One thing that you can't have are pets or coolers. No pets, no coolers. Eat dick, people.
Or blue.
Or any of that shit. So.
It's just red, white, and country. No blue.
Red, white, and country laser show. The gates open an hour and a half prior, too. You can come get your spot. You know what I mean? You want to really camp out for that laser show. Also, we know the Remedy tickets are going to go fast, and you're never going to get close to the stage if you don't get there early. So you're going to have to do it here. Also hit up the Kiwanis pancake breakfast also that morning.
I want to know what Kiwanis and the fucking Shriners and the Rotary Club do. You fuckers keep it real quiet.
I don't know what Kiwanis does. They're a club of some kind.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The
Shriners?
The Shriners I know do hospital shit. I don't know what their original reason for gathering was.
What's with the fucking hat?
Don't know about the hats. I don't know why they gathered, but somehow they've put things. They have excellent hospitals where they do amazing things. So I don't them. And then what was the other one?
That tells me they're doing that because they don't want you to look at the other hand. And what does the Rotary Club do?
I think what
the fuck is a Rotary?
I think it's a local business organization. I think it's like a local small business organization. It's kind of like the Chamber of Commerce, but I think less political, if I'm not sure, or more political. One or the other. I'm not positive.
So why the fuck do they call it Rotary?
I don't fucking know. It probably was started in 1850 when that meant something different.
By Mr. Rotary? Mm-hmm. And it was his club?
Jonathan Rotary, or things, rotated
Ted
on a...
Shriner?
Who the hell knows? Yeah. William S. Shriner.
Kiwanis, these motherfuckers.
Sons of bitches. So crime rate in this town, what we're interested in here. Property crime, just a little bit high, but nothing awful, like 10% high. Not that crazy. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault. The Mount Rushmore of crime is below average here.
That's great.
Below average, not like 20% low, maybe something like that. So it's still a very reasonably kind of a safe area. That is within striking distance to Miami. So, not bad here. That said, let's talk about some awful, terrible murder that happened here. Okay.
Someone who went too far.
Oh, boy, this shit is crazy. We're going to talk about a bad guy and a series of bad people, and an origin story of a bad person also is going to be mixed in here. This is a wild thing here. So let's start out in 1988. Okay? Yeah. That's where we're going to start out. 1988. It is like everybody here has horses. It's a much different area, okay? We're going to start out with Robert and Donna Decker. Okay. Robert and Donna Decker, husband and wife. They're both 37 years old. They have been married for 16 years here. Okay. So they got married in 1972, and they kind of moved around a little bit. And 2 years earlier, in about 1986, they built a house here in Davie, Florida. Built it. Robert has a construction company, so he's a carpenter, and he built, him and the people who work for him built this house from scratch. So,
wow.
Yeah, they bought it. It's a 1.11 acre lot. So right now big lot near Miami. That's big, you know.
He's not the Ann Decker part of those carpentry tools?
He knows nobody named Black. No, okay. Nobody at all here. So
he blew it. He's a carpenter doing it.
Absolutely. They built a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,713 square foot house here at 1651 Southwest 116th Avenue in Davie. And the house still stands now, so he must have done a hell of a good job.
Yeah.
So don't bother people who live in that fucking house, please. Jesus Christ. It's bad enough, trust me. They don't need you there. They know. And if they don't tell them. We'll put it that way. So
let them sleep.
And if you live in that house and you're listening to this and you're just a listener of the show and you're like, did they just say my fucking address? I'm really sorry for what we're about to tell you if you didn't know this shit already. So, wow. Anyway, they by 1988 they have a 2-year-old son named Carl. So they waited a while to have kids. Yeah, little Carl.
I guess everybody named Carl was once a baby, but that's a fucking weird name to call a 2-year-old.
That's what I mean. Well, we talked about Gus a couple of weeks ago, and there's nobody named Gus. And then somebody tweeted us and was like, I have a 2-year-old named Gus. That's hilarious. And we're like, awesome. He's the only one. That's so cool.
It's a good kid.
Give that kid like a Kangol hat and a cigar and send him off to preschool. Because
you needn't. He'll do it. He'll do it on his own because he's cool as shit.
Put a newspaper under his arm.
Yeah.
There you go, Gussie. Let's go.
Head on down, Gus.
Gus. So, they have a 2-year-old named Carl. Now, when they moved in, their neighbor here, because this is kind of a rural area at the time, like we said, and the neighbors are kind of close-knit, and they're very nosy. And there's a neighbor named Esther Mayberry. So
Stop it.
You know Esther's noticing people moving into the neighborhood. Yeah. Who's over there? What's going on? Writing down license plate numbers. She described Bob Decker as, quote, like an all-American neighbor, a clean-cut husband who loved his kids. Some people you see move in, you just know they're going to be trouble. That was just not the case with these people. So
that's a weird way of calling somebody something.
Right? An all-American clean-cut husband who loved his kid.
I don't want anybody ever call me that.
No.
I think I've done a pretty good enough job making sure that nobody ever calls me that.
I'm sure. I don't think those words are going to come up with either of us, probably. So they either way, this old lady, though, the nosy old lady, who I'm sure has something bad to say about a lot of the neighbors, decided that they were okay from right at the beginning. She
loves Mr. Decker.
Yeah. Loves him, loves the Decker family. They seem like a wonderful little family here. So they move in, and eventually here, Clyde Decker will move in as well for a while here. That's Robert's father, Clyde. He's 76 years old by 1988. He moves in with Robert and Donna in October of 1988 because Clyde's wife died, not Robert's mother. It was, she was already gone. His stepmom, but his wife died, so he was lonely and he moved in with them.
Not doing great.
Yeah. So Clyde begins assisting Robert in the construction business as well. I don't know if he's hauling beams or anything at 76, but he's at least
still mobile enough to throw a hammer.
I don't know if he's doing HR or what over here, but he's helping out in some way, shape, or form.
He might be ordering shit. Who knows?
That's what I mean. He could be a foreman of some kind. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. So enter another guy here. Let's enter Charles Panayan. Panoyan. Panayan. Charles. Oh. Charles Panayan. Now, Charles also works for Robert. He's worked for Robert for a long time in the construction business. Yeah. They met in the early 70s. So they've known each other since Robert was
been a minute.
Real young, and they knew each other well. I guess Charles Panayan helps Robert a lot with he really, really helped a lot with the construction of the home, of Robert's home. Yeah, they spent the most time there together doing everything. So, keep costs down, obviously. To get. So he's a real good friend of his, and the guy he trusts to come over and say, hey, you're my good carpenter. Come help me build my house. You're not going to take the goofball. You're going to take the best guy you have to do your own house. So anyway, that's how this works. They're good friends. They all know each other. Charles comes over all the time for whatever reason, drop stuff off, work things, whatever. So November 4th, 1988. Let's start here, okay? Charles Panayan was working on a construction site with Robert and Clyde that day. Yeah. Clyde's out on the site. Look at him, man. 76 out on the fucking, wow, not bad. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover.
Yeah.
Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing.
No.
They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Bad. It was payday this day, and Robert paid Charles Panayan $500 in cash for pay. So good for him. Now later that evening, they go their separate directions. Charles goes his way, and Charles does say, "Hey, later on, I have some venison. I'll come by and drop that off for you later." Or
rad.
Either way, yeah, I got a bunch of venison, so too much for me, just too much. So if you know anybody that's a hunter, they always have too much meat, and they're always trying to give it to people.
Just fascinating.
Which is great because venison's delicious. I will say
it's
good.
fine.
I don't want to kill it myself, but if someone's making it, it's pretty good.
But you've got to there's ways of killing it that you've got to get done. Otherwise, that meat is fucking awful.
I would assume, I'm hoping that they know what they're doing. If they're
that gamey shit is terrible.
Yeah, I'm hoping they didn't just drag it by the ankle onto a fucking barbecue and hoping they knew what they were doing.
You got to kill it fast. If you just let it bleed out and die slow, all that shit gets into the meat and it's so gross.
You don't want that. So either way, that day, Robert, Clyde, his dad, and young Carl, who's the boy, a 2-year-old boy, they go to a restaurant for dinner. Donna's working that night. She is a hairstylist at the JCPenney.
Oh.
There's a shop, a hair shop inside JCPenney there that has, it's like, Hollywood, whatever boutique. She's a hairstylist there. So she's working that.
Area.
Yeah.
Sure.
She's working in the evening. So the three guys go out to dinner here. Guys, 3-generation guys' night out here. So good times. They get home now. Carl, Bob Decker and Clyde get home at about 8:50 p.m. They come in. Now this is important. They were getting home. They were rushing home to get home before 9.
Okay.
Had to get home before 9 o'clock.
What happens at 9?
Dallas is on. Dallas is on at 9. So
can we get the check, please? It is 9. It is 8:45. Dallas is almost on.
Someone's going full Rain Man. It's definitely 19 minutes to Dallas. It's definitely 19 minutes to Dallas. 17 minutes to Dallas. Like somebody's doing that. If you don't know what Dallas is, Dallas was a kind of a nighttime soap opera, primetime soap opera about a very
popular,
rich oil family. Yeah, the whole any show that does a who shot so-and-so cliffhanger, It's based on Dallas doing the Who Shot JR cliffhanger. So it's a whole big deal. It was a phenomenon, and they are hooked, boy, on Dallas.
It's their lost.
Oh, yeah, they're coming home for Dallas. And back then, there's no TiVo. There's no you can't stream it.
Services.
You can't fucking stream it later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to start with you can't tape it, you can't stream it. There's no, or you can't TiVo it, you can't stream it. So that's 3 different decades. You can't do any of it. None of those things are possible.
If you don't tape it, you miss it. How crazy was that?
That's it. You have to hope they reran it sometime.
Yeah.
Well, they do reruns in the summer, so hopefully I'll catch up on that in 4 to 6 months. That'll be great.
Otherwise, next week, you're fucking lost. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you got to tune the fuck in. So they're not going to fall to that fate, though. They're going to get home for Dallas, and they do.
Okay.
They said they pull up about 8:50, plenty of Dallas time, kick off the shoes, put your sweatpants on, and
shit, you can make some microwavable popcorn
get ready. Oh, there's time. So when they get there, Charles Panian is at their house waiting. He's like sitting on their front stoop waiting for him. And
he's ready to watch too?
Yeah, I'm here for Dallas, obviously. Robert says, what are you doing? What's up? What you doing here? And Charles is like, obviously, Dallas is on. I can't watch that alone. Need someone to talk to about it.
Sitting here waiting on the key to the front door.
No shit. Well, he's like, I brought venison for you. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. Right on. They brought that venison. So he goes, well, we got to get inside and watch Dallas. So you want to come in and watch Dallas? Because that's what we're doing. And Charles is like, sure, I'll watch some fucking Dallas. Why not? Let's go inside. So now these 3 grown men and a baby are going to 3 men and a baby are going to watch Dallas. This is perfect. All right. Everybody's going. We got a lot of different things going on here.
Yeah.
So they're going to watch it. Now, before the show started, I guess Charles Panian stood up from his chair and said something to Clyde, and Robert couldn't hear what he said. Robert was looking the other way. I don't know if he was adjusting the fucking cable to make sure Dallas was going to come in clearly. I see him
fucking bunny ears.
I see him like squinting, moving the bunny ears, one bead of sweat coming down, little piece of tinfoil that way. He's like, I got to see J.R. Ewing in all his goddamn glory, for Christ's sake. Jesus. Want to hear this shit? God damn it, Patrick Duffy's back. I'm watching it.
I want it in clear, grainy vision.
Oh, babies. Clear 80s over-the-air antenna.
Shitty picture.
Shitty picture. So, I guess Charles told Clyde he's going to go to his truck and get the venison. He was sitting on the porch, so he didn't have the venison sitting on his lap because that would have been weird. So he's like, I'll go get the venison now. So anyway, there they go. So Bob watches Charles come back through the door with a big package of venison and puts it down on the counter. And Charles Panian returns to his chair there right in front of the television. And everybody's ready to watch Dallas. It is like It's like 8:59. It is the theme music is about to kick. Everybody, it's breathless. It's a breathless time in the house.
Watching that last Folgers commercial before this shit kicks off.
Even Carl is fucking enamored. He is glued to the television at 2. He knows this is an event. So
it's watching a U-Band commercial. U-Band's a good enough substitute for Folgers. It's not bad.
It's not bad. Maybe I'll try.
Shh, it's coming on.
Shh, hold on. All right, shut up. Shut the fuck up. But Daddy, God damn it, I will break your skull. No, just kidding. So they are, just as this happens now, just as Dallas is about to kick in, somebody else comes in the door, bursts into the door. Behind, where the just newly closed door. Okay. This man places a gun to Clyde's head immediately.
Oh, God.
So, stranger bursts in, places a gun to Clyde's head. Now, if that's not terrifying enough, let me give you a description of this man. Because even if he didn't have a gun, you'd either crack up laughing, throw a miniature Snickers at him, or fear for your life. One of the 3. I'm not sure. Here he is. Okay. He's described as a white man. He's somewhere within 2 inches of 5'10". So he could be 6 foot. He could be 5'8". I don't know, somewhere in that region. He's wearing new work boots that are clearly new, blue jeans, a jean jacket, of course, obviously. He's got the Florida tuxedo on there, a yellow plaid shirt, brown work gloves, a ninja mask, and a yellowish white straw cowboy hat.
Okay.
What the fuck kind of outfit is that? It sounds like the outfit of the worst wrestler ever, is what it sounds like. Some terrible independent wrestler. They're like, what are you, a ninja cowboy landscaper? What the fuck are you doing?
It was Orville Peck's first draft before what he became. That's just a strange. Why would you wear the ninja mask? You didn't have it.
Can't
clearly,
be seen.
He wants to cover his face.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything else, and he picked up last year's Halloween costume.
I think so. Or he thought it was cool. He thought ninjas were cool. And he's like, this is pretty dope. And then, you know what it's missing, though? A hat. I always see in these ninja movies, they're missing a hat. I'm always like, accessorize, guys. Come on. I get the one outfit comfortable, but the hat's not going to mess up your movement. You can do it. You still have range of movement. You can do those big kicks. So,
but he went hard with the cowboy guy.
Oh, yeah.
With the
Yellowish
shirt, all the jean. Yeah.
It's the strangest outfit ever.
And then the ninja outfit.
And on top of that, if that's not terrifying enough, a gun to the old man's head on top of it. It's a rusty .22 revolver.
Oh.
So you're like, Jesus, that makes it even more terrifying. Somehow.
Does it even work? I don't want to find out.
Yeah. So he says,
it shoot harder?
Is it going to be worse now?
Yeah.
Is it going to give me tetanus and a bullet wound? I feel like, I don't know.
Right.
How dirty? So this guy, this ninja cowboy gunman here, he's a ninja cowboy gunman. He says,
bandit.
The ninja bandit says, quote, you all go over there and I'm going to put handcuffs on you. He says, lay on the floor in the living room. So while they're doing this, Robert asks Charles Panigan, he goes, do you know who the fuck this is? Do you know this guy? And Panigan doesn't say anything. He's just like, I'm trying not to get shot at this point. So he's being very quiet. But Robert, it looks to everybody like Robert sees that he thinks he does know him, basically.
Okay.
He said, it looks like Charles is trying to like hide something here. So, all right. Now, they all do this. Charles, Clyde, and Robert all follow the instructions. And the gunman here handcuffs all three men here, handcuffs them, then has Robert show him the location of a floor safe and a walk-in closet in the master bedroom. And he knew about it right away. This guy, the first thing he said is, go to the floor safe. He knew, do you have a safe? Where is it? He said, go to the floor safe. He picked Robert up and said, let's go to the floor safe. So that's, somebody who knows something.
He's aware of something in here, right?
Yeah. So it's in a walk-in closet in the master bedroom. Now, when he looks at the safe, I guess they get in there, and the gunman is not convinced that the safe is not hooked up to a burglar alarm of some kind, of some kind of trigger or panic or some kind of something built into it. So he's like, this could be a trap. This could be a trap. So now, by the way, young Carl walked in behind his dad in the bedroom. So he followed him into the bedroom. Yeah. So at this point, the gunman orders Robert and Carl to lie down on the floor. All right.
Kids too.
So imagine the stress of this. You don't understand how imperative it is for you to shut the fuck up. I'm being the best. This is the best parenting thing I can do right now, is to tell you to shut the fuck up and be fucking still. So I guess if he yelled at the kid would listen, from what everybody says here. So couldn't find anything. Finally, they get the safe open. He's convinced it's not hooked up to a burglar alarm. They pop the safe, nothing really in the safe. They don't have anything of value in the safe. It's just the safe is there in case they have to put anything in there, but there's really nothing in there. Small change they found. So now the gunman here, he orders the Deckers into the master bedroom. Everybody into the master bedroom. Let's go. Clyde, Carl, Robert, everyone in the master bedroom. And he starts ripping any phones out of the wall that he could find, the gunman, just ripping all the phones out that he could find. Basically in the master bedroom, doesn't really do that thorough of a job, but he's like, I see a phone, yank. If he sees a phone, he yanks it out, but doesn't go in a systematic hunt for phones. Just none within reach of these people.
Like a see something, say something kind
Exactly, yeah, totally. So this guy here, he grabs Clyde from the living room, and the old man, the 76-year-old, and drags him down into the master bedroom and throws him onto the bed, okay? Pushes him onto the bed. This sounds like it's going to get sexual, but it's not.
Yeah.
To to have him sexually assault, to have a man in a ninja mask and a straw cowboy hat sexually assault a 76-year-old man, I can't even talk. My brain can't process that right now. It's too much.
Even at 76, he's seen a lot in this lifetime, and that's not something you want to see looking over your shoulder.
That's never the way you think you're going to go out, probably.
No.
I doubt. Never. Never. So this man was probably in World War II.
Yeah.
He's like, I never thought this was how it would go. So he's in there. The gunman then ties Robert's feet together and then returns to the living room. Okay? Goes back to look for more. He's going to go pillage. Now, Robert, while he's in there, they're alone, the three guys. He has the Carl laying next to him on the floor, kind of holding him, telling him, you shut the fuck up. Robert manages to kick his feet enough to loosen the ropes around his feet.
Okay.
So he does this, and he moves over and he looks out of the bedroom doorway down the hall and can see into the living room from there.
Yeah.
See where this fucking guy is at, right? Because otherwise, at that point, you're going to start, throwing your kid out the window and tell him, run,
Yeah.
run away from the gators and toward the neighbors. Where's Esther? Go find Esther.
And don't come back here. Find Miss Mayberry tonight.
Yeah, go, move and run. So either way, he goes to the doorway to see where everybody's at. And what he sees in the living room is he sees the gunman talking to Charles Panian in the living room. Panian's in the recliner chair because he didn't put him in the bedroom yet. Okay. Now he says that I guess at this point he sees that the gunman and Panian are whispering to each other. They're whispering. Now at this point they, I guess, sense Robert. The gunman turns around, sees Robert standing at the bedroom door, and he's pissed. Now the gunman marches back to the bedroom, ties Robert up again tighter. All right. Panian here. Clearly, everybody thinks, okay, something is suspicious
They're
here.
in cahoots, yeah.
He at least knows who the fuck this guy is, obviously, if they're whispering. And also, he's the only one not tied up, so that makes me think that something's up there. None of us have any clue who he is. They seem to have a previous relationship. So what's up with that here? Now, I will tell you who these people are, just so you know who we're dealing with. I'll give you a little backstory on the gunman here. He does know the gunman, Charles Panian. The gunman in the house is named Dana Williamson.
Okay.
Dana Williamson, he's born in 1960, so he's about 37 at this point in time, 38. He has a brother named Rodney Williamson, who's 5 years older.
That's 28, right?
I'm sorry, he's 28. Yeah, what did I say?
Yeah.
38? I meant
38,
I meant 28.
He's a young man. Yeah.
He's a young guy, and he's got a brother who's 5 years older than him named Rodney, who is outside, apparently, of the house as well. Now, a tidbit on Rodney, and then we'll give you Dana, all right? Rodney had a shit childhood. He got kicked out of his house at 15, and since then, he joined the carnival is the first thing he did.
Yeah, of course he did.
He became a carny. He operated carny rides, worked at as a gas station attendant, tries to be like a writer. He's got all sorts of weird jobs.
Oh.
Now, why the hell did he get kicked out of his house at 15?
Love to know.
Well, let's see here. At the time, there was Rodney, Dana, and then younger than Dana was a younger brother named Vernon. And they have a father here and a mother named Ella. The father's name is Charlie, I believe, and the mother's name is Ella. And on Christmas Day, 1969, Ella dies in a car accident.
Jesus.
Which, I mean, that'll be traumatic for anybody.
Fuck
for
yes.
a family. A mom dies on...
Ruin Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas Day, that's brutal.
Oh.
That's brutal. So that everything changes from there. Mom held the family together, and once this happens, Dad can't keep track of these kids. He's got his own concerns. The kids start running amok, and when Dad gets remarried, everything changes here. So Dana, though, we'll talk more about him. His problem started with the death of his mother, obviously.
Yeah.
As you would imagine here. At the time, I think he was, 9 at the time? So
Too young? That's a good answer.
little young for that. Dana's father remarries very quickly. And that back then was very common. Back then, a guy like Dana's father in 1970 would just be like, I don't know how to do anything. I don't even know how the washing machine works. I don't know how to cook. I need to get a wife to take care of my kids. That was the mindset.
Too many babies in this house.
Exactly. Well, he finds a woman and marries her. She has kids of her own as well.
Uh-oh.
So, and those kids and the Williamson kids don't get along.
Perfect.
So everything's going great. And this woman apparently doesn't like the sons either. So, I mean, if you're going to get remarried, you have to find someone at that point that's going to be super empathetic to the fact that your kids just lost their mother on Christmas Day.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's got to be a sensitive thing.
You got to know that you got to come into it with a sensitive heart, saying, "I'm not here to replace anybody." But I'm sure that didn't happen.
No, she came in with an "I don't give a fuck about these kids. Get them out of my way." And
these are my kids. We will take care of these. Those will eat when these eat.
That's exactly how it is, man. So Dana, after this happened, he ends up in a mental facility for a while.
Oh
here.
shit.
Yeah, they said a court psychologist at that time said it was a long time before he knew his mother had died. It wouldn't. What? He had like a weird reaction where it wouldn't settle in. Yeah, he wouldn't do it. And they said he missed the family's period of grief because he was like in a mental facility, so he didn't like be part of the whole family together grieving. So that was a problem there. Apparently, too, he went to live for a time with a friend of his mother's in Miami because they found out he was being abused at home in 1970.
Shit.
So less than a year later, he's already being abused, and his mom's dead.
House,
yeah. So he went there, and he ended up running away from his mother's friend's house in Miami and came home. Yeah, because his brothers are there, too, and shit. So over the next 4 years, he is going to be just in and out of foster homes, private placements, the children's unit of the South Florida State Hospital, Pembroke Pines, all sorts of places. He'd always come home afterwards, and then there would be a major problem, and they'd basically reject him again. Dana had it rough for a while here. So
that's a tough cycle.
Absolutely. I would say 1971, he comes to the attention of the Department of Family Services here in a petition asking that they be given custody, alleging that Dana and his 8-year-old brother Vernon had been abused by their father, physically beaten up, not sexually, but physically. That's when they fled to the home of a relative at that point, and so a judge awards custody to the state. So the court records indicate the father offered no opposition and, in fact, refused to take Dana when prompted to.
Really?
Yeah, basically said, I don't fucking want these kids here. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's super harmful. I mean, granted, back then they didn't fucking know that, but that is so dangerous.
It's bad. So I mean, yeah, if you think about these kids, they had a normal family one day, and then the next day they're in a series of foster homes and different people's houses and relatives, and they have a quote new mom, and then there's other kids. It's got to be a weird situation for these people.
They were a son, and then in the morning, Santa brought them to be wards.
Yeah, exactly. No shit. Santa brings you permanent sadness this year. There you go. Oh, the box is empty? It's not empty, actually, kid. It's got permanent sadness in it.
Unwrap that. It's tears forever.
Oh, my God. So they said that he was placed in the South Florida State Hospital where he that's the one place where he did the best, apparently, in 1971. They said he never ran away. He never ran all the way away. Everywhere else he'd run away from. But there they said a couple times he went out to the parking lot and came back. So he was like, where am I going? Never mind. So they said, here's a psychologist said of him, quote, he carried with him an enormous burden of rejection. He always wanted to go home. To this day, he wants to go home. He was a charming boy, the kind of patient doctors feel for in a special way. Yeah. She said that a Christmas one time, the father, during a Christmas period, the father agreed to let Dana spend a few days at home. So that's nice. She says, though, quote, he wouldn't allow the boy to come home until Dana got his hair cut. So Dana did that. He and his brother Vernon were in bed Christmas Eve. Finally, we're here with our family on Christmas Eve, and we're going to have a real day.
New haircut.
When his father or his father's wife, one of the two, overheard him, apparently, the boys saying something negative about the father's new wife. Like they didn't like her, or she was mean, or whatever the fuck. So they pulled the kids out of bed and fucking brought them back to the state hospital in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Can you imagine that shit?
No, being rejected and Christmas is such a big deal to them.
That's what I mean.
A sensitive period.
No.
And they say
Done.
like her ham sucked or something like that, and they drug him back to the flame.
Out. Go sit in your ass. That's wild.
Unbelievable.
Man. So the psychiatrist was asking also, like, why does he keep returning home if he knows he's going to be rejected? And the psychologist at the time said, because home is a way of life, a pattern of living children are comfortable with, which is true. Kids will stay in abusive situations because where the fuck else are they going to go? They think that's life.
Right.
Yeah, they think that's where their center of whatever is, and they're supposed to be there. So this person goes on to say, I asked him, meaning Dana, why once he ran away from a certain foster home, and he said, because they're the kind of people who feed the dog in the kitchen. He ran away from a foster home because they feed the dog in the kitchen. I don't know what
does that mean.
I don't know what my dog's eating the house. Is that a bigger? Is that a symbolic of something bigger?
That's got to be a metaphor for something, right?
Well, he said that to him was more significant than the unpleasantness he found in his own home. So he's looking for excuses, is what that is. It seems like. I don't fucking know. Then he went to stay with an aunt and uncle. The hospital released him to their custody, and he ran away again. So his father, Charles, or their father, was twice held in contempt by juvenile court judges for non-payment of child support, also to the state or to whoever the foster parents. Once in 1970 for payments owed in support of a daughter of his, and again in 1974 by a judge for being in arrears of $440 concerning Dana. The father was confined to Broward County Jail for 60 days, but then paid somewhere in the middle and didn't have to serve the full sentence there.
Over $440?
$440. This is in the early 70s. It's more money now than that. So court records repeatedly refer to the father's efforts to rid himself of his 5 children, all of whom at one time or another received the attention of the juvenile court and the Department of Family Services. So his father's a fucking asshole, basically.
Sure is. Jesus.
Wow. I hope his mother was nice, at least. Jesus. Counselors and court doctors who dealt with Dana told a story of a boy burdened with guilt, one who suffered from repeated rejection by his father and others. They basically say that one of the doctors said that he's not saying he's a healthy kid and you know all that shit and he's just got a couple problems. He said actually he's a borderline psychotic who responds to stress by engaging in flights of fancy, becoming unaware of what is real and what is not.
Whoa.
Which he's been doing ever since his mother died, and he just decided she didn't die. He just makes his own reality at certain points.
That is a wild thing to say about a child.
About a child, yeah. Like, I know you feel bad for him, but don't feel bad for him quite. It's that the doctor's telling you that in the 70s. He's also a borderline psychotic, so we're worried about him, essentially. So, yeah. In the early 70s here, we're talking 74, 75 now, so he's 15-ish. He lived in the Nova Center for Living and Learning. Okay, everything's named after the old town, the Nova Center for Living and Learning. Or no, that's Zona, not Nova.
Yeah. Well, but Nova was, it was called Nova at one point too, right?
I thought it was Zona.
You said Nova about something else.
Fuck, I don't remember. Either way. It's a residential behavior modification setting for emotionally disturbed children. That's what it's called. It's not a jail. It's not like a thing like that. It's like a hospital. Place, like a facility for help. Now, this is between stays in foster homes and shelter homes. And he stayed in some of these agency shelter homes where they would have a single family home with a single couple taking care of as many as 18 children.
Oh, my God.
He'd be in like a group home.
That's so many kids.
Where my mom lived in Arizona when I was a teenager, there was a group home like 5 houses up the street from her. And like all these fucking girls lived there. It was crazy. It was like facts of life over there. It was fucking wild. But they were like super delinquents.
Well, across the street from our house, we just had like people with major challenges, like they were all in wheelchairs, but like
that's
super messed up. Like they had super problems.
They're not gonna. They're gonna be quiet if nothing else.
They were so loud. As a child, I didn't understand it, so I was just scared to death.
Yeah, I could understand that. Yeah, well, your parents should have explained that to you.
Yeah. What?
Hey.
I had the worst
Blah,
parents
blah,
of
blah,
all
blah,
time.
blah. Instead, your mom's like going, look at fucking Shaky over here. Like, what?
My mom would just like look and then see and hear the noise and just grab us and put us in the car and we'd leave. But I was like, what the fuck's happening? Should we call the cops?
Oh, my God.
But it was a group home.
This one was just, they were just delinquents who had like horrible upbringings or, parents beat them or abused them or molested them or, these were all, they were cool chicks, I guess. We were like 13.
I'm sure.
They were nice. I mean, I got along with them, I was friends with them.
You'd think they felt safe away from but they probably didn't still.
I have no idea. So who knows? So
the danger in those places sometimes is just as bad.
Yeah. I didn't think that was going on over there because they were all pretty comfortable and not. And everybody was pretty cool, I think. But either way, he ended up in Dana here. They said, just countless stops at the Pompano Juvenile Detention Center, waiting to be placed somewhere else. He'd always just be in flux, going somewhere. Yeah. The one court psychologist said it was like a second home to him. The Pompano Juvenile Detention Center. That was like coming home, and then you get sent somewhere else. But he'd be like, oh, I'm back here. Good. This is my one solid.
There's no handcuffs and such, right? It's just a place?
The juvenile detention, I think this is just a place where they house him for a little while because the state has nowhere to put him until they find another foster home here. Said he made friends and stuff like that, but he'd move around so much he could never keep any friends. So it was mainly just his brothers when they could get near him. His older brother Rodney, though, took off and joined the carnival and everything, so he got himself out of the situation. So one time during a stay in the Pompano Detention Center here, a woman he met liked him. Not sexually, but a woman, felt bad for him.
Sure.
Jesus, mom died on Christmas Day, and here's the whole sob story. And she says, holy shit. So she talks to the family services about the possibility that she could adopt him.
Oh.
Yeah. So they took trips together. They did frequent counseling sessions together to make sure the state, would make sure she's okay. They said that during his private counseling sessions, he made frequent references to her and the home that she was going to provide him with and how great it's going to be. And it's going to be wonderful. And then one day she just stopped coming and never contacted him again.
What the fuck?
Just changed her mind. It was
Just quit.
Just quit. Said, fuck that kid. She later said, when they found her later on, she told juvenile court officials that she suspected Dana of stealing. And that's why she stopped. She thought he was stealing from her. So apparently that was an accusation made quite frequently against him by everybody, everywhere he ever went. So, hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right. Let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us, be fashionable, get in there with Quince, indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad. Right. There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, it's great. Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up. For energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff. And I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool. And you can personalize this portion and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
One of those here. The psychologist said for a long time after that, Dana continued to express confidence that the woman would return for him. Of course, she never did. It was another rejection, one of many. So he had this same attitude. He was like, oh, no, she'll be back tomorrow. It was like 6 months later. No, she's coming, don't worry. And they're like, dude, she's not coming. She's
never coming again. And you possibly stole from her.
Won't return your phone calls, won't return your letters. Yeah. It ain't happening. He's like, no, I'm sure she's just busy now. Like he's one of those kids. Who's just the next set of headlights is going to be her. I'll just wait on the porch.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's rough. So it's a tough way to go. Maybe my mom will be pulling in right behind her. Yeah. One of those. So one psychologist was asked why Dana continued to be a disciplinary problem even for people he apparently liked, like this lady. What the fuck? And she said, who the fuck knows, basically. She said, we have no idea why. It's just something he did, whatever, comforted him. We have no idea. So psychiatric testing ordered by the court reveals that Dana considered himself a weak and worthless boy, and that his actions often sprang from a well of fear and hostility within him. Yeah. As a child, and this is all shit basically we got to deal with as a child while we as a society can still give a shit about it. Because once you're 18, it's like, okay, whatever package you have, you got to ball it all up, put it in your pocket, and walk down that fucking road without interfering with other people's lives at that point. So
yeah, your childhood is a white elephant gift exchange.
Yeah.
Only you can't give it away at the end.
No, you're stuck with it, and that's it. So you have no idea.
Down the road with your fucking handmade oven mitt.
Anything that's not fixed, it ain't getting fixed now, you know? No. It's like you live in a place where winter gets real bad, and you're like, well, we didn't fix the roof. Well, we're not fixing it now. 30-mile-an-hour winds. Too cold. We're fucked. We're screwed. So that's kind of how it is here. So with one interviewer, he left a distinct impression that under the right circumstances, he could learn, control, and to redirect those impulses somewhere else. But they also said, a psychologist also said, that's true, but at the same time, quote, he's not well. We would never say that he is, but the problem is a lack of long-term treatment center for emotionally disturbed adolescents. We simply have had no good place to put him. So they just moved him around. There's also violent behavior exhibited by him and witnessed by psychologists during counseling sessions. One time he really, basically they figured that he felt provoked, threatened, angered, and upset about just about everything. Those are the words he would use. And it was for very little things. He'd freak out in a counseling session and, kick over a fucking desk or something for no reason out of nowhere. The psychologist said that the violent acts initiated by Dana without provocation would surprise her. They'd just be having a nice conversation. He'd just have a huge violent outburst for no reason. She said, quote, he was not a problem in that regard, either at SFSH or during his many visits to the Pompano Detention Center. So she said, quote, I'm treating several people about his age now who probably should not be out on the street, but they are. Again, we just don't have a good place to put them. She said that he will overload under stress, borderline psychotic. Quote, he needs limits like those established at the hospital. He wasn't ready for Nova living and learning where he is awarded points for good behavior. The intensive treatment and supervision at the hospital should have been tapered off gradually. They just went from you're in a hospital to freedom out of nowhere. Right. So
he's being told what to do every day, and now he's able to do some things, and he doesn't know how.
Yeah, and every time he would get a little bit better, they said the children's unit at this hospital only has room for about 50 kids. And so they have to handle the most serious cases. So as soon as he starts showing signs of improvement, they boot him from the program every time. Right. And then he starts up again, and then they put him back in when he's serious. So it's just this constant circle that's going on. So it's rough. So 1975 here, he's at the Nova Learning Center. That's where he's being placed. And it's not a jail. There's no gates or fences or handcuffs or anything like that. It's just it's like Job Corps kind of, except you kind of have to be there because you're a minor and you're assigned there. So
it's like the county jail in New York. You can just wear your clothes, but there's all these beds around.
Yeah, but that's got fences around it. This doesn't have fences.
Yeah.
This is
the interior.
Yeah, this is like a school basically. It's not a jail. It's just like a almost like a.
But they've got beds there, right? They've got to be able to sleep.
They sleep here and stuff. Okay. Yeah, it's a whole center. That's what I mean. It's like Job Corps. That's the best way to describe it as I can put it. Because I knew kids that did that. It was similar. So February 16th, 1975, he takes off from here. From the Nova place. Now, technically, it's not an escape. It's not a criminal thing, but he's supposed to be there. So it's kind of this gray area of can he leave or not?
But
yeah, you're not allowed to leave, but it's not really a crime if you leave because you're not sentenced to be here. It's just kind of where you've been placed, and you should be there. So it's one of those. So if the cops find him, they'll return him to the place. They won't put him in jail. It's one of those things. So February 16th, 1975, he's 15 years old. He takes off with a 13-year-old named Roland Menzies, Menziee.
Really?
Yeah, that's some name. That's some handle you got there, Roland. You want to hear something worse? You know what his father does for a living?
He's a gynecologist?
He's a doctor, Jimmy. I don't know if he's a gynecologist, but I'm going to say close enough with Dr. Menzies, right? I think that's close enough.
It's got to be.
That sounds like the brand name of a terrible product for women. Like Dr. Menzies fucking cramp be gone. You know what I'm saying? It's really got like opium in it or some terrible drug that'll make your eyelashes fall out or something.
He named his kid something that sounds like slang term for your period. You want to go out tonight? I'm Roland Menzies.
I'm Roland Menzies right now, baby. Luckily for him, he's 13 and probably doesn't know that yet. It's like, why do all the older kids make fun of me? I don't get it. It's really weird.
Why don't girls like me?
They like me, but only for like a week, and then they hate me again. I don't understand it. They don't ever talk to me again until the next month. I don't get it. His father had to overcome this and was like, I will go to medical school and dominate this myself. I'll learn about this thing that's ruined me for my entire life.
So how does a doctor have a kid that's being forced to be in a place like this?
Kid's a fuck up. I mean, fuck up's a fuck up. Yeah, the kid's a goddamn disaster. And this is crazy because they don't do much better of a job with this now, by the way. I'm not going to say that things have improved that much, but in the 70s, they did not have shit set up to deal with kids of this nature. They didn't have kids. They didn't really realize it. It was just, it wasn't like that back then. There's way more emotionally disturbed kids than there used to be. I think maybe is what.
Do you think the rise of serial killers made us want to focus more on children's adolescence and coming of age? Do you think that started it? What do you think did it?
I think the rise of juvenile crime made us do that.
Yeah,
this all started in like the early 60s when like there was a huge spike in juvenile crime. And that was if you look at anybody's like political ads from the early 60s, it's like, I'll stop the scourge of the juvenile crime wave. Every single person is juvenile crime wave, juvenile crime wave. So it became a thing of like, we got to lock these kids up. So then they figured we got to lock these kids up. But then they were like, well, some of them are real fucked up. What do we do with them? Well, we'll stick them in this hospital. There's only 50 beds, but we'll keep it going like that. Okay, well, then what about when they're done there? You seeing these plates start to spin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can put him in this
quagmire.
In this foster home here. They have 18, but then when another one comes in, we'll put him out. We'll look for new places while they're in there and maybe get, oh, shit, that's another one. Fuck, I'm a toe in this business. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's a lot of plates to spin.
Yeah.
And it all falls down.
It's solving the problem oftentimes becomes like planning a murder because and then what is the really complicated fucking thing to get to. It's so hard. You don't know how to fucking fix a kid. Who knows?
And also there's no real you don't really get credit for That's not where, a politician's not like, we're going to fix these kids. Politicians go, we're going to keep you safe by putting that kid you're afraid of in jail.
Right.
That's what a politician says. The politician that says, we're going to fix these kids gets called a pussy by the other guy who says, I'm going to put a 12-year-old in the electric chair and see how they like that. That'll learn them.
That'll teach the other 12-year-olds not to do the shit he did.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't probably. But either way, it's it's interesting, basically, that there's, and we don't have the answer. I'm not saying now we know better or so. Who the fuck knows? We still haven't figured it out. There's still tons of screwed up kids, more than ever now because the population's so much more. So
true, yeah.
Either way, he escapes. Dana and Roland Menzies here are taking off. Yeah. He's going. They're going to flow on out of there right now. And so
they're going to go paint the town red.
They're going to paint the town red tonight, baby. You know it.
That is disgusting.
Hopefully, nobody will dam up their fun here. That's what we have to. That's what we have to hope for. How early in the week depends on how much fun we're going to have. Could be a heavy flow of fun that we never even thought about.
Yeah, we may have to wait until Thursday.
That's right. So anyway, they were spotted hitchhiking that day. I had to say spotted. Thank you for laughing at that. I'm like, I hope he catches spotted.
Gross.
They were spotted.
Yeah,
I have seen in my notes, and I'm like, oh, no. They're definitely spotted. They're certainly spotted somewhere.
Yeah.
There's the Menzies boy. I don't know who's with him, but I could see him from a long distance. So, Jesus Christ. So they're found hitchhiking near where Dana Williams's father, Charlie, is known to live. Okay. In Miramar. Now, the boys are, I guess that day they hitchhiked to near where their dad lived, where his dad lived, Williamson's dad. They spent the afternoon horseback riding at the Williamson home.
Yeah.
How mad would you be? All right. You live in a horse place. Like, you live in your house has fucking horses running around and shit, and you have to stay in the Nova Learning Center and foster homes and be like, no fuck you, man. I'll live like the horse, for Christ's sake. Let me get a spot in the stable. At least I'm home.
Give me a stall and a trough of gruel. I'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Just throw some cheeseburgers in there instead of whatever you give them, and I'll fine with that shit. So either way, that's what they do. Williamson, also a construction worker, by the way, Charlie Williamson. They were, I guess, he called, once they were there, he called the center, the Nova Center, and asked if the boys were missing. Did they get released, or, did you let them go, or did they take off, or what the fuck's going on here? Why are they at my house riding a horse here? And they told, no, they're missing. They're supposed to be here, certainly, but they're not. Yeah. So Charles tells them, I'll return them. Don't worry about it. I'll bring them back soon. So he said, I'll bring them back to the center. So that's all good. Now, the boys were also seen near the Menzies home as well. Yeah. They were seen there the next day. So the parents of the Menzies parents, Dr. Robert Menzies and his wife, Mama Esther Menzies, Mama Menzies here.
Cantankerous pair.
Wow. Robert and Esther Menzies. Holy shit. Dr. Menzies. Are you kidding me? Doctor?
Stunning.
That is remarkable. They're both faculty at Nova University in Davie, where the father is in the chemistry department. Oh. So he's a doctor in chemistry. So he's trying to figure out
what the fuck's wrong with you ladies.
How to shrink down period times is what he's been working on that for a while now. He's like, if I can get it down to a solid 3 days across the board, I feel like this whole country will be much happier. So at that point, they said they had voluntarily taken their son to the center with his problems. He wasn't like put there by the state. They took him there. They did some research and thought this was the place to take him to. So apparently that night, though, they spent the night at Dana Williamson's father's house, according to this. And the next day, Williamson drove them to the center. That's what he's going to do. So he drops them off, but he drops them off several blocks from the facility for some reason.
Makes them walk?
We don't know. This is the thing. We don't know if he dropped them off there because it was more convenient, or if they lied to him and told him that's where that's where they were. It was at this house over here or something like that. We don't know exactly what happened here. Because God, you think he fucking knew where his kid was? Come on.
No, and I don't think he gives a fuck.
That's what I mean.
Wherever you want to be dropped off, just don't come home.
He probably asked the kid for gas money when he got out of the car. Yeah. Gas, ass, or grass, and he's Mr. Menzies, so we're going to go with gas or grass at this point. So at this point, near here, there's Nova Hills Farm is right by here, by the way. This is what I mean. This is a different place out here than it is now. Nova Hills Farm there. This is where the Wagner family has a family horse and pony are boarded. So they're boarded at a horse farm. They have 2 children, Christy Wagner, who's 6 years old, and Peter Wagner, who's 4 years old, that are playing with the horses at this horse boarding place with their family. Yeah. Little kids. Apparently, the 2 little kids wandered off from the horse farm while the parents were busy with something. Yeah. And it's all nature shit. So they didn't wander in the middle of oncoming 6-lane traffic. They wandered off down a hill, and there's a small canal on the property that's owned by Nova Hills Farms. And this is about a half mile away from the rehabilitation center, from Nova Rehabilitation Center, where the kids are, where where Menzies and Dana are. So they're kind of hanging out, and they come across these 2 little kids. Apparently, for no earthly reason, they attack these 2 little kids for no reason. God. They physically start beating and kicking them. A 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. Okay? They beat them severely and then take off. Uh-huh. They don't go to the center. They go on the run from there. They take off because of what they just did. Okay? Now, the little kids, there's a search for them because the parents said, oh, shit, where are the kids?
Because it's a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yeah. So eventually they're came upon pretty quickly, but they're in terrible shape. Peter dies 30 minutes after he's found. The 4-year-old. 4-year-old was kicked to death.
Oh, dear Christ.
15-year-old Dana Williamson kicked him to death. A fucking baby. Okay? And they beat a 6-year-old girl so severely she was hospitalized for weeks after this, but she ends up surviving the attack. Wow. This is horrific. Fucking horrific. This is out in some orange grove out in the middle of nowhere beyond a farm. This is fucking horrible for a poor little kid.
What do you do with that kid?
That's a 15-year-old that did that.
Yeah. Okay? What do you do to that kid?
That's why they said borderline psychotic. We don't know what the fuck to do with him. This is what they mean. I think
he jumped over the line, guys.
That's what I mean. He jumped over the line of everybody else's problem now. You know what I mean? At first it's his family's problem, and then it's, whatever. Now it's everybody's problem at this point.
He's certainly not borderline anymore.
So the next day, Menzies he's scooped up.
Yeah.
They sop up Menzies from the side of the road at one point. He turns himself in.
Sponged him out.
Yep. They found him. They don't find Dana for 4 days, though.
Oh.
It takes 4 days to find Dana. They had been listed as runaways there and everything. So they asked Charlie Williamson, the father, what the fuck, basically. He said, I brought the kids to the center about 5 p.m. on Monday. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, well, about a half hour later, 2 kids were beaten, 1 to death. He said, quote, I dropped them off at the front door of the center, and I guess they never went inside. Now, they didn't, obviously. So now they're talking he's got a sister who's 17 named Donna who's defending him this whole time, saying he's just wanting attention. Well, that's not a way to get attention.
Well, he's got it. The feds likely now.
He's got a lot of attention here. And she said he even liked it at the mental hospital because he got attention there.
Yeah.
So they finally catch Dana. They catch up with him. A 15-year-old moron can only go so far.
Sure.
Menzies, he couldn't get away because they just followed the trail the whole time.
Follow the trail.
Very difficult. So the Davie police chief, Dale Peterson, he questioned Williamson and said that they said that he ended up admitting to it, Dana, and said that they did it. He said, why'd you do this? What did the kids do to you? He said,
what the fuck?
They didn't do anything. Did it, quote, just to have some fun.
Forever. You never let that kid out.
Just to have some fun. That is fucking wild. So, yeah, he's got a lot of problems, I would say here. This is beyond, like, little bits of problems. So they're being held, both boys being held on charges of homicide and assault with intent to commit first-degree murder. They're being treated as juveniles now, but they're talking about, charging them as adults, even the 13-year-old. So they said the press talked to their families here. Charlie Williamson said that his son was Dana's overcome with grief. He said, looks like he's been crying for hours. Oh, God. I bet he's in jail for fucking murder. Mm-hmm. He also said, this is the father, I feel deeply for the parents of that little boy and the little girl. What has happened is unforgivable. Both boys need help of some kind. Yeah, I would say so. You know what? You could have lent that help, I don't know, any time in the last fucking 6 years or so. Maybe if you would have tried.
You are worthless, sir.
Yeah, you suck. You're a shit father. Let me tell you that.
Charlie upside down fucking M.
Yeah, Charlie fucking M. So he, that's funny, upside down M. He also blamed the whole thing. He goes, well, the boy's mother died. I mean, his mother died on Christmas.
Right,
yes.
But you're his fucking dad, and you got to pick up the pieces, man.
Also, then you compounded it over and over and over again by kicking him out and doing it. You've caused this. You caused this.
You're certainly culpable.
They said they're going to try the kids as adults, and he said he had no comment on that decision. He said it was the grand jury's decision. Let them answer for it. What are you asking me for? Boy. Well, because it's your kid, so we wanted to ask you what the fuck. He said that he basically says that all the court records of the juvenile stuff don't even reflect the truth. He goes, it's bullshit. He says they never knew what to do with him, and he said, believe me, I'll have a lot to say later. I could write a book about all this.
Well,
so
please don't do that. I don't want to read.
No, I don't want to read this idiot's book. It's going to have a lot of misspellings in it. Let's just put it that way.
Chicken soup for the idiot dad's soul.
Fuck, chicken soup for the terrible soul. That's just awful.
Chicken soup for everybody but my son because I'm a bad dad.
Because I'm a terrible dad. Oh, make that the rest of my 5 kids as well. Yeah. So, yeah, they want to try him as an adult. They're talking about it. The indictment was by the 18-member grand jury, almost 2 full days of testimony there. I guess they're going to be transferred to the Broward County Jail. They have to do all this shit. And I guess the way they're talking about, Menzies' parents get him a lawyer.
Really?
By the way, they lawyered him up good because they have money.
Got money. Yeah.
And this guy's does not. Dana has no lawyer, obviously. He's got public defender at this point. Florida law permits regular prosecution of anybody over the age of 7. You can charge an 8-year-old as an adult, which is just a ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
That's That's like saying that you can call a cat a bird. Like, that's just, you're a bird now. Well, no, You're still a cat. It's a species thing, and you need wings. There's a lot you need to be a bird. Can you lay eggs? You have babies a different way. Certain qualifications for birddom, and as a matter of fact, there's also certain qualifications for adulthood, and none of them are when you're 8 years old.
James Pietragallo, specialist in bird law.
I know bird law. Trust me. I know my bird law. No, this is fucking ridiculous, though. 8, 7.
There's a difference between a puppy and a dog, and you can't. I mean, you can't do this.
If a kid, it's not even a puppy and a dog. 8 is nowhere near an adult. An 8-year-old is just as close to being a dog as they are an adult person.
Yes,
they're just as close.
There's a reason we don't let them vote.
Or do anything.
Anything.
Literally
be
nothing.
Be responsible for a thing.
Yeah, if you tell an 8-year-old, go brush your teeth, you check in on them to make sure they're brushing their teeth. You don't even trust them to do that.
When they say they brushed them, you go check the toothbrush and make sure
dry.
It's wet.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. So that's to
crazy.
Me is just an asinine thing to say. Well, we're charging this 8-year-old as an adult, and you should then laugh and change the law. Because that's stupid. Words have no meaning now? Fucking no. Adult's an adult.
We don't have 8-year-olds fighting wars.
No, for a reason.
No. Yeah.
And if you asked an 8-year-old, I don't care if they butchered 30 people. If you sat them down and say, why'd you butcher 30 people? They'd start talking to you about fucking Pokemon. They're not on task or on subject. No. There's a problem there. They're 8. It's crazy. So They asked the state's attorney whether there'd be any special problems trying a 13-year-old, as an adult. And he said there's always a problem in trying juveniles when you have a minor accused of committing crimes against another minor, obviously. So anyway, they have a huge hearing, all these psychologists, all this type of shit. The judge also recommends charges be brought against Charles Williamson, the dad, for negligence for dropping the kids off at the center and not
else. Yeah.
If the charge would be contributing to the delinquency of a minor. And they said that the judge made the recommendation based on advice of his professional staff, which has dealt with Dana since 1970. And basically, the father's been a big part of this the whole time.
Yeah.
So they said that the doctor who runs the center said if the boys had been returned all the way to the center, they would have been met outside and checked in, but they never saw them out there.
Adult to adult handoff. You don't just fucking send them out.
Give them one of those waves even. Yeah. Just go, hey, those are the gotcha, and then you take them.
Do the old, I'll take the check, please. Point down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hand up, point down. Yours? Here they are.
No fucking shit. So June 1975, the boys take a plea deal. Dana and Menzies take a plea deal. And they said basically what they found out was if they charged them as adults, they wouldn't have been able to probably get a conviction on them because what they did is when they got them in there, they interrogated the 13-year-old for more than 9 hours before being turned over to juvenile authority.
Wow.
So without any representation from a parent, a lawyer, or even a state-appointed anything, they sat a 13-year-old down and did 9 hours of interrogation.
That's nuts.
That's over the limit.
Yeah.
That's over the limit nowadays of what a judge will accept for an adult, basically.
Yeah.
Unless
it's put them in a school that long.
Yeah, exactly. That's 9 hours is a long fucking time to interrogate. Yeah. They basically anything past about 6-7 hours nowadays, they start to go, all right, like the cops will go, we got to get it now or else it ain't going to count anymore.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Like if he starts cracking at 4 hours and it takes another 6 hours to get the confession, that's a different, to get it all out. That's different. But if they're still saying, no, I didn't do it 9 hours in,
move along.
You fucked up. Yeah, you didn't get it. That's it. So that's what they're doing here. They say there's all of that, all the questioning. They said the location of the questioning in the Davie police station may also have violated state procedures governing the handling of juveniles. Juvenile judges have interpreted the law to mean juveniles must be turned over to the Florida Division of Youth Services before any questioning can be done. They just ignored that.
Yeah.
They ignored that completely. So a psychologist said that she was extremely disappointed with Dana's decision to plead guilty. She said, I'm not sure that he was mentally capable of making such a decision.
Okay.
He's 15 and fucked up in the head. Somebody with problems like that, like Dana had, could not be responsible for what he was saying. She's saying he shouldn't have been able to plea. So they asked him, Dana, the judge did, if he understood what was happening to him prior to accepting it, and he said he did. They said that his lawyer said, I knew the prosecution had a good case and Dana would probably have been found guilty. That's why I advised him to plead guilty to the manslaughter charge. So the kids are sentenced to, you young men, children may fuck off 7 years in jail. So they get 7 years, and that's going to be, I guess, till they're 18. They'll be in the youth facility, and then they'll be put in adult jail after that.
Stomped a baby to death.
Stomped a baby to death, and then tried to stomp a second one to death.
Right.
7 years. Now, problem is they're released, or at least Dana Williamson's released in January of 1980, so he doesn't even serve 5.
3?
Yeah, and change 4-ish.
Yeah.
And then Menzies is released in August of that year because they wanted to keep him for a few more months to laugh at his name. They were like, you know what, we're having a real good, it's good for camaraderie in here. It's super good for camaraderie. Like everybody can make fun of you, and we like it.
You're a lot of fun at chow time.
It's hilarious. 1983, there's a lawsuit. The family of the victims here have a lawsuit against the Nova Youth Facility. Uh-huh. They said the home is at fault for letting the kids loose and letting them out. They said that based on their lawyer said based on all of their notes from psychologists, quote, they had been obsessed since childhood with killing and violence. What the center specialist did was no higher level than playing doctor. They were experimenting with these sick boys because they didn't know what. There's no procedure of what to do with them. So they were like, maybe we'll try this. That's all it is. They were doing their best, I think, here. Now the center had since closed by that point. People who staffed the facility, they said, basically those people said, we didn't operate a maximum security prison. Like, this is not anything there. The lawyer said, upon the center knew of the dangerous propensity of these boys for violent assaults upon children, and although they were notified on 3 separate occasions of the whereabouts of the 2 boys on the day of these brutal assaults upon the Wagner children, they made no effort to pick them up or otherwise prevent the perfectly foreseeable and altogether unforgivable tragedy which occurred. Well, they said, neither boy was in there for criminal things, so they had no right to go get them. That's not how it was. The one doctor said this was a well-run organization. It was a treatment center. It had no bars. They said the responsibility lies in 2 hands, Dana Williamson's and Roland Menzies, and no one else. They said, why should we be fucking blamed for that? So during this lawsuit, they are Williamson and Menzies are subpoenaed, but neither of them respond. By this time, Dana Williamson is in Ohio living with a wife and child. And Menzies is in Broward County being held without bond on several auto theft charges.
He continued to be a piece of shit.
Yep, continued. So anyway, the outcome of this, the case had 18 months of postponements and 2 different appeals. All sorts of shit like that. In the end, they found out that, they judged that the Living and Learning Center was not liable for the crimes of the residents. And so that's where all the appeals went on. So
that's nuts.
That's crazy. This is who we're dealing with now.
That's who's standing in a ninja cowboy costume.
Yes. Guy who kicked a baby to death, basically, and had no fucking feeling about it, is now ninja mask, cowboy hat, gun to grandpa's head, telling a 2-year-old to get on the fucking floor. Where's the safe?
Oh, God.
And he might be in cahoots with Charles Panigan, or Panian. Panigan. We have no idea yet. So,
and his brother Rodney's outside.
Absolutely. So Panian knows Williamson. He knows both the brothers, Rodney and Dana, because he was good friends with them and even often visited Charlie Williamson, the father. After all of that, after the kids got out, everybody was adults. Everybody got made up together there.
What?
The Williamson boys started talking to their dad again, and Charlie, it's all fine now. Thanks, Dad. Thanks a lot.
Oh,
so,
how do you talk to that guy ever again?
That's what I mean. So Panigan had met Charlie Williamson approximately the time he met Robert Decker in the early 70s when his son was being a mess. So Panigan and Charlie Williamson were neighbors for a period of time and would do each other favors of, can you help me with my project? I'll help you with your shit. Williamson also asked Dana to help Panigan on several occasions as well. On one occasion, which occurred during the time Panigan was helping Robert Decker build his house, Charlie Williamson asked Dana to give Panigan a ride to the Decker house. Okay. So he'd been there before multiple times based on that. Charlie Williamson, the father, suffered a stroke in 1987, and then Panigan had visited him on a regular basis. And by that time, Rodney Williamson, the older brother, and his wife and 2 children were all living with Charlie Williamson. Mm-hmm. So everybody had reconciled by then. Everything was fine.
Living in Dad's house with my whole fucking family.
Yep, living with my stroke dad and that doesn't want me or never wanted anything to do with me with my whole family. Getting him back for those times right now. So on one of the visits of Charles Panigan to the Williamson house, which occurred about in late October of 1988, Dana asked Charles Panigan whether he knew anything about Robert Decker's involvement in drugs.
Oh.
He said, you know if that Robert Decker's involved in drugs or what? Panigan answered that no, he didn't deal drugs. He doesn't know of Robert Decker to ever deal drugs. And while Panigan was visiting Charlie Williamson on November 3rd, the night before all this happened, 1988, Dana kept insisting to him that he knew that Robert Decker was dealing drugs. He's like, come on, tell me what he's doing, because I know he's dealing drugs. Panigan kept saying he's not dealing drugs. I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's a goddamn carpenter.
He's a carpenter. He owns his own company. If you think he's doing well, it's because he's a carpenter. So I don't know. He's building. Just go build something, I guess. The fuck you want from me? So Penny Ann and Dana went fishing together that evening, November 3rd, and again kept talking about it. Well, are you sure? I know he's doing something. I know he's dealing some kind of drugs. Penny Ann maintained he had no responsibility for any of this, obviously, he's going to keep saying, but they were fishing the night before this happened, and then it happened, and then they're whispering to each other. This is very suspicious here. But he says he went outside. Penny Ann said he just went outside to get the venison, and the Williamson brothers approached him out of nowhere. That's what he says. He said they told him that they were going to rob Robert Decker. Charles Penny Ann said, "Don't rob him. What are you talking about?" He said at that point, the Williamsons both pointed guns at him. So he had no choice. So Dana then told Charles that if he said anything or failed to follow his instructions, he said he'll, quote, signal the man in the bushes, and then somebody will go to his house and kill his family. So this setup is, you got me and my brother outside.
Yeah.
We're going to go inside and rob these guys. But we have a network of bushmen set up as well, where if we do a signal to them, then they'll hop up and then they know to where they're dispatched to go murder your family. They know. Like, we've really set this up. It's pretty good.
We got signals.
We make the mafia look like just lazy bastards is what we're doing here. This is pretty good.
The slide sign to the guy in the bushes, and he's going to go murder your family.
And he knows where they are, too. We have that all set up already. He's got a list. Don't worry about that. So, he said that's what would happen. So Charles Penny Ann then re-entered the house. Dana came in a couple minutes later. Penny Ann recognized the gun he was holding, that Williamson was holding, as his own gun. Charles was like, "That's my gun. What the fuck?" Apparently, he says that he must have stolen it out of the truck because he kept it in the glove compartment of his truck. So Penny Ann says that when Dana came in the house, he exactly was wearing what we told you before, and ordered the three men to lie down on the floor, handcuffed them like we said. He took Clyde Decker's wallet, apparently Dana did. Dana took his wallet and asked Robert Decker for his wallet. Robert Decker told him that his wallet was in the safe, and that's how the safe thing he said, "Take me to the floor safe," and he goes, "That's where my wallet is." So Robert Decker told him, that they all moved into the bedroom, and that's when everybody was moved into the bedroom for the safe. At the time, though, Dana asked Penny Ann where Robert Decker put the drugs and the money. That's what he was whispering to him about in the living room. Penny Ann said he doesn't know anything about drugs or money. He's never fucking had any drugs or money. And Penny Ann, he claims at that point, Williamson started beating him up. Dana started punching him and kicking him and telling me where the fucking money is. So he said, "I don't know where the fucking money is." And that's when they noticed Robert Decker watching them. And then Dana went down to the bedroom with Robert and tried to question Robert about the money. So at that point, this is where we left off. He's questioning them. He's in the bedroom. This is where now he hog ties Bob.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Pulls he's got it all tied up. He's got Bob hog tied. Carl is laying next to his dad on the floor, the 2-year-old. Yeah. And he's telling him, "Fucking stay there." Robert would say before that, when he's hollered at, he won't move. I can't tell you how many times I told him to lay by me right here. So he reties him. Now the gunman here, Dana, starts rummaging through the drawers and cupboards and all over the house looking for shit, right? While he's doing this, Robert manages to loosen the fucking ropes again and get free.
Sure.
Now Dana discovers this again, and he fucking takes him, and now he hog ties him really tight and gets Robert all tied up tight, okay? So at that point, he asks Robert, "Where do you keep the money and drugs?" So they find out that there is $2,000 in the house, which Clyde had brought with him when he moved in. He's the one selling drugs, the 76-year-old. Robert said, "I don't have any money or drugs." So Clyde's cash and a bunch of other shit was taken. And at this point, Dana continues to rummage through the house. They can hear him knocking shit over, looking for shit. It's at this moment that Donna returns from her shift at the Hollywood Fashion Center inside the JCPenney.
God damn it.
She pops in. The only person in the living room is Charles Penny Ann, just sitting there in the recliner, and Dallas is on TV.
Right.
So she's like, "Hey, Charles, what's going on? Where's Robert?" She doesn't know anything's amiss here. So he says, Penny Ann goes, "He's in the bedroom. Like, doesn't know what else to say. This is about 9:15 p.m. So Donna fucking walks down to the master bedroom. Hey, Robert, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. It's at that point that Dana grabs her, sees her coming, grabs her, ties her hands, and drags her out into the hallway. Okay. Now, Donna lost a shoe while she's being dragged, and she begins to cry during this struggle. All right. Sure. Now, during this, Dana starts to continue his search. He leaves Donna sitting there. It's at this point where Donna struggles and gets out of her bindings, stumbles into the bedroom, and she said, "Is he gone? Where is he?" And Robert Decker said, "No, not at all. He's still here." And at that very moment, Dana pops up behind Donna again.
Okay.
Okay. He takes her, drags her into another room now. Robert can hear Dana and Donna talking in another room. This is terrifying, obviously. Yeah. A little while later, he's still hearing things. What's going on here? Panigan now from the other angle, he sees the lights go on in the office after Williamson drags Donna out there. Panigan sees the light go on in the office there, and then about 3 or 4 minutes go by, and then Dana Williamson exits the office and returns to the living room. Mm-hmm. During all of this mess here, apparently Dana, when she had first struggled and got out, and then David? Donna, when she had first struggled and got out, she had went to the kitchen and grabbed a butcher knife.
Oh.
And went in there. So she had a butcher knife on her that that Dana Williamson didn't know about.
Yeah.
So she drags him away. Apparently, she took the butcher knife out and started trying to attack him with the butcher knife.
Atta girl.
Okay, and this is now another hour has gone by. This has been all this rummaging. That a girl, but he gets the butcher knife away from her and begins stabbing her, God. Just brutalizing her with this butcher knife. Stabbing her. It's at this point where she gets away, crawls into the office, and locks herself in. Uh-huh. So he can't get in there. She dials 911 at 10:13 p.m.
Oh, my God.
And says, Jesus Christ, this is fucking terrible. She said, please, I need the police. I've been stabbed to death. Is her fucking...
shit, she knows.
She knows she's been stabbed horrible.
Bleeding. Yeah.
And you can hear it in the 911 call.
Yeah.
It's you can tell her lungs have been fucked. Like you can hear liquid in her breathing and things like that. She said, my husband, my baby, and then she died on the phone.
Oh my God.
Donna died with the phone in her hand. Okay. So they don't know this though. The guys, Robert and Clyde and Carl, they don't know any of this now. This is in another room. They're tied up in the bedroom. So before all of this happened, because that was 10:13. Now before she's killed, 9:50ish, Dana Williamson comes into the bedroom with a legal-sized sheet of white paper, like 8 by 10, whatever, 8 by 11. It has 4 straight lines drawn down it. Donna's signature is on one of these lines.
Yeah.
He sees that. Robert Decker does. Gunman tells Robert to sign this paper.
Okay.
Robert signs the paper, but the guy went into Robert's wallet, looked at his driver's license, compared the signatures, and said, that's a bullshit signature. Do it fucking right.
Do it again.
Yes, so he makes him do it again.
Calling all dog owners. Your furry friend deserves top-notch nourishment. And Ollie delivers the clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 flavors they'll absolutely flip over. Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world, with absolutely no harmful fillers or preservatives. With protein-first recipes like fresh beef with sweet potatoes, fresh turkey with blueberries, or fresh lamb with cranberries, you might start thinking, dang, my dog eats better than I do. And that's probably true when it comes to Ollie. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. Head to ollie.com/Wondery. Tell them all about your dog and use code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/Wondery and enter code WONDERY to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie.
Creating really great retail experiences is tough, especially with multiple stores, teams of staff, fulfillment centers, separate workflows. It's a lot. But with Shopify Point of Sale, you can do it all without complexity. And let's face it, acquiring new customers is expensive. With Shopify POS, you can keep shoppers coming back with personalized experiences and first-party data that give marketing teams a competitive edge. In fact, it's proven, based on a report from EY, businesses on Shopify POS see real results, like 22% better total cost of ownership and benefits, equivalent to an 8.9% uplift in sales on average relative to the market set surveyed. Want more? Check out at shopify.com/Wondery. All lowercase, and learn how to create the best retail experiences without complexity. Shopify.com/Wondery.
Then once he feels satisfied that he has all of the, all their signatures for whatever reason that is, I guess to clean out their bank accounts later so he can copy them and do all that shit. He then, he puts a pillow over Robert's head and shoots him twice in the head with a pillow over his head, which is crazy. Robert says right away he put the pillow on my head. I couldn't see anything, but I could feel the shot. I didn't want no more. I pretended I was dead. So he gets shot twice, pretends he's dead. Then Williamson moves over and shoots Clyde in the head. Let's shoot a 76-year-old man in the head. He's a big threat. Then he goes over and shoots the 2-year-old in the head.
Unbelievable.
Shoots all three of them in the fucking head. A 2-year-old. For what?
Baby.
A fucking baby. This is insane. So we will say all three of them survive.
Wow.
All three of them survive with gunshot wounds to the head.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing. Just a little bit... Clyde physically recovered from the bullet to the face. It shattered his false teeth and it hit his false teeth and deflected the slug into his cheekbone.
Incredible.
So he survived. The son, this is tough. Behind his right ear, he still carries the bullet. They can't get the bullet out.
Oh no!
By the time he was 9, he still had a bullet lodged in his brain because they said it was in a bad place to operate. So it's better just to keep it in there.
Wow.
That's fucking horrible, and we'll talk about Robert's problems after the shooting. But anyway, so he shoots everybody. Yeah. Then Dana comes out and talks to Charles Panayan. He hog-ties Panayan, apparently, and puts him on the living room floor. While he's tied up, Dana takes Panayan's wallet and looks through his wallet and tells him, quote, "You know who I am and you know what I'm capable of doing. You know my reputation." He said that Panayan said the guy took all of his addresses that he had, names and addresses, like his little papers that had his like address book in it, family, friends, coworkers, and he took all of them. And Dana told Panayan that he would torture and kill members of his family to get to you if you fucking tell on me and try to run away, basically. Panayan said, "Are you going to kill me? What the fuck?" And Dana said that, "No, I'm just trying to get your attention. I'm not going to kill you. I'm just trying to let you know how serious I am, that you can't fucking tell anybody about this." So, Jesus. Panayan then describes apparently for multiple minutes in graphic detail how he would torture and kill Panayan's wife and daughter and son if he said anything. Like he told him all sorts of creative, weird shit that he would do to them there. So,
yikes.
Holy shit, man. So then Dana unties Panayan and sends him outside, goes, "Go talk to Rodney outside." Now, Rodney holds Panayan at gunpoint and makes him drive a short distance to Rodney's truck, okay? After he orders Panayan to pull over, Rodney tells Patty Ann, if it was my decision, I would have killed you, but my brother likes you for some reason, so to let you know, and then reiterates the threats against, we will kill you and your family and, all that kind of shit. So it's fucking crazy. While Rodney Williamson and Patty Ann were having a little chit-chat there, Dana runs up to the truck without wearing the Hatter mask that he had taken him off once he left. He had 3 guns in his possession. At that point, he told Rodney that something had gone terribly wrong, and he told Patty Ann, go home don't call the cops, just go home, get the fuck out of here. Dana said, remember, kill your whole family, baby, kids, parents, the
everybody,
deal. Yeah. Everybody. Fuck your grandmother in the face, you know how it goes. Okay, gonna go. So Patty Ann didn't go directly home, though. He stopped at a shopping center and approached a security guard.
Okay.
He asked the guard for a quarter to call his wife, but then it somehow got into the conversation of, hey, I need to call the police. And the security guard calls the police for him. And this happens 26 minutes after the Donna's 911 call. This comes in.
Wow. So he after murdering her, he went in and just started going to work.
Yeah, and then after that, Patty Ann just, I guess, walked. It was 1.5 miles away, so I don't know if he just drove around and decided when to fucking call the cops, but he waited 26 minutes to do it.
Okay.
So the police officer comes there and escorts him back to the Decker house, which I don't think is procedure.
What?
I don't think that's procedure here. By the time they get back to the house, other officers were responding to the 911 call. They didn't put the two together.
Right.
He called and said, I got a thing with a family and it's crazy. And then Donna called separately, so they didn't put them together. So when this cop brings Patty Ann home, like, come on, boy, show me what you mean. Like he took a dog.
Yeah.
Timmy's in the well. Take me to him.
Come on, Lassie.
Patty Ann's like, he ran all the way there. When that happened, and then there was already cops there for Donna's 911 call. They had to break down the office door to find Donna because she locked it, and she was already dead in there. The 2 Decker men and the boy were bleeding and unconscious in the bedroom. It was fucking pretty bad here. She had a lot of stab wounds, whole fucking bunch of them. She pissed off Dana somehow. You know what I mean? Fighting back pissed him off. I don't know what set off in him, but he went off on her.
He was angry at a woman.
Absolutely, yeah, for dying on Christmas. How dare you die on Christmas? Is that what he was screaming while it happened? Like, this guy's got fucking problems, man.
Yeah.
The police say they don't know what happened. They don't know how many people invaded the home. They said attackers. We don't know, but they knew what house they were going into. We do know that, obviously. So Patty Ann is taken to the police station and questioned. He told investigators everything that occurred, but he said, I don't know who did it. I don't know who those guys are that broke into this house. So police say they think the robbery is an inside job based on Robert saying that the guys knew about the floor safe and all that kind of shit. They questioned Patty Ann extensively and said that the case is far from a typical home invasion because the robbers knew too much about the house. Right. Now, Patty Ann, the press asked him, news reporters said, do you have any comment? And he said, I've got nothing to say. So Robert Decker said he was lucky to be alive, lucky his son's alive. Right. He said the reason we survived, with Donna's last dying breath, she called 911. Yeah. It's true.
And also, that gun evidently shot softer.
I guess so. A little bit softer, man. It didn't bounce around as much. Or they just got very lucky. The one got lodged in a weird spot. The one ricocheted off the tooth and got caught in a cheekbone in a weird spot.
Shocking.
He just got lucky getting shot twice in the head. Now, the next year, 1989, Bob's life is completely different, obviously.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to work because he lost coordination in his right hand and foot because he has nerve damage from being shot in the fucking head. His brain damage, too. He also, he thought at first that the young Carl was imitating his grandfather because Clyde is hard of hearing.
Yeah.
So he thought his son was imitating his grandfather, but turns out he's 100% deaf in his right ear, the son.
Oh, no.
They found out. Yeah. Bullet remained lodged in his brain. The surgeons believe it would do more damage than good to remove it. They said otherwise the boy seems fine, other than a couple of weird things we'll talk about here. They said he's still optimistic that the killer will be caught. The head detective said the key thing is that we are not without leads. The other thing is that we have Bob and his father surviving the attack, and they'll make good witnesses. Great. Now, Bob Decker says he's leaving Davie for good and heading to St. Lucie County. He sold the house. He's done with it. He wants out. He said, hopefully somebody knows something. Maybe the guy who did it has a wife and a kid. I know he's got to have a hell of a complex. He wanted to wipe out a whole household. So he's playing amateur psychologist in 1989 and doing a decent job of it, too.
Not bad.
He sold the house. I found the listing for whatever, $165,000 it sold for that year. So that's what he sold that house for. Now, the reason they have leads is because a tip comes in. A guy named Winston Marsden calls.
Yeah,
62 years old. He saw the ads, and he called in and kept his name secret and said he basically said you got to talk to Panigan, and there's Dana Williamson, and put everybody's name out there. So the police tried to track this guy down based on an anonymous phone call, and they finally track him down, and now he says that it became public. He fears for his life.
Yeah, because those guys are psychotic.
Yeah, he said, that's why I stay here with my blinds closed. I don't know I won't step out my front door and have somebody blow me away. All this, and they gave him $1,000 for his tip so he can huddle in his home in fear for the rest of his life. Wow. So he seemed to have some information, and nobody can figure out where he had his information, where it came from. It's very fucking strange, but he's definitely fearing for his life. Not worth $1,000. The lead detective said, I had some very gruesome case to solve, and this person is the only one who seems to have some information. I think I would be remiss to not do everything I can. So he's like, I don't give a shit who comes forward with info. I'll fucking follow it. Enter Kojak.
The actual guy?
Okay. Now, if you don't know a Kojak, they made new Kojaks too. Kojak is a detective character, bald head.
Right?
Telly Savalas is the original. Bald head, lollipop. Right. Hey, what's happening? 70s.
He was so cool.
It was a big TV movie that was so successful they turned it into a series, and it's the coolest, best detective ever. Now, there's a guy named Brian Kavanaugh who happens to be a prosecutor in this county, and this is his case to prosecute.
Okay.
But he doesn't have any suspects at this point. So he has nowhere else to turn after a year and a half goes by without all the leads that he wants. He asks his dad for help. His dad is retired Lieutenant Thomas Kavanaugh, a New York City homicide detective that Kojak is based on. He's the real Kojak. He is literally Kojak. It's based on him. It's a known thing who it's based on. It's based on a specific case that he solved. Okay?
Dana is fucked.
So now literally Kojak is trying to solve this case. This is fucking insane. So he calls in his dad. He said, Dad, I have a little bit of a problem. I wonder if you can help me. Kojak here is 78 years old at this point when he's called for help. He comes out of retirement to work this case. He works, he's questioning everybody and all this type of shit. They also call him the Velvet Whip. That's his that's his station house nickname that the other guys call him, the Velvet Whip. Which sounds like very sexual.
That sounds like a Starbucks drink.
It does. Let me get a Velvet Whip, and people are like, "Oh, damn,
Velvet Whip, please."
That's a dirty Starbucks drink right there. That sounds.
It's red coffee with some cinnamon on the whipped cream.
It hurts, but it's soft.
Yeah. It's only served hot. We don't ice that one.
No. You can't ice a Velvet Whip. Come on, what kind of fucking shit show you think we're running here? So they. Kojak sits down with Panigan, because this is the guy who has some information, and he has 5 interrogation sessions with him.
Really?
He said he hit him from all sides, and he came to the conclusion, based on 5 interrogation sessions and being Kojak, that Panigan was not guilty of murder, but just bad timing. That's what he said.
Okay.
He goes, Panigan wasn't in on it. He just happened to be there and then panicked and reacted poorly afterwards. So they end up basically telling Panigan, look, here's the deal. We think you're innocent. So here's what you're going to do, because you're not going to get charged with murder. You're going to fucking testify in every goddamn way we want you to. Yeah. And then guess who's an innocent guy? Look at that. No deal, no nothing. You're just innocent. How's that sound? So either way, they said that Kavanaugh says that it's the kind of thing you see in the movies, this whole thing. So they got to do this. They have to get it in because this killing is crazy. Now, the Kojak case, by the way, comes from the murders of two young women, Janice Wiley and Emily Hofert, in their Manhattan apartment on August 28th, 1963. There was hundreds of detectives working the case, and they eventually arrested a suspect named George Whitmore Jr., who was a 19-year-old kid with an IQ of 60.
Jesus.
He gave a 61-page confession. He gave more pages than his IQ.
Yeah, sure did.
More pages than points he's got. But in 5 years later, it turned out that was a false confession, and the guy didn't do shit.
Unreal.
So Kavanaugh is the guy who ended up finding the real killer, a guy named Richard Robles. So the Daily News printed, quote, "In the sweaty, profane world of homicide detectives, he stood out as a tall, austere figure who never cursed and used courtesy instead of muscle." That sounds like a tagline for a fucking TV show, doesn't it? And it is. There you go.
Never saw. So doggone.
Nope, doggone. So there you go. Telly Savalas ends up playing him, and there you go. So anyway, what he did was, Brian Kavanaugh, when he brought his dad in, he sat Charles Panoram down and he said, "Listen, this guy's the real Kojak, so he's going to figure this out." And the guy, he was like, "Oh, fuck, Kojak, like the TV show? That's the raw fuck." And that's how it was. And the Kojak here, real Kojak, said, "I told him I'm always interested if the man was innocent." So he's basically like, "I'll listen to you if you're innocent."
Yeah.
So May 1990 is when Panny Am, they're going to drop the charges against him because they have like charges pending when they figure out what the fuck they're going to charge him with. They're going to drop the charges, but they're going to arrest Dana Williamson and Rodney, and they're going to charge them with murder at this point. Okay. So, at this point, before that, all they had was an anonymous tip. So Panny Am, though, later on when they searched his truck, they found keys to the handcuffs that were on everybody in the house.
Oh, what the fuck?
So they think that they basically stole the gun. They dropped they used his car as a drop box, is what they're saying.
It was a clean out spot.
I think he's involved in this, by the way.
I'm not convinced he's not.
Okay, here's what I think. I don't think he got anything out of it. I don't think he was like, "Let's rob those people." I think they told him, "Go over there at fucking 9:00.
Yep.
And then we're going to go over there and do this." That's what Williamson's told Panoram, and Panoram went along with it.
Get over there with your venison and distract them, and we'll be over shortly thereafter.
I think Panny Ann probably thought they were going to get robbed, and that was it. I don't think he expected a 2-year-old to be shot, probably. And I think that's where this came from. They also, a jailhouse snitch, though, said he met both Williamson and Panny Ann in jail. He said that Panny Ann did know, this is based on the inmate, that Williamson intended to rob the Decker house, but he didn't know it was happening that night. That's what it was. He goes, "I knew they were going to do it. I just didn't know they were going to do it right then." So he said that he thought that Panny Ann wasn't involved because of that. So it said basically, in other words, this guy tells you that he shows up at the house and Panny Ann doesn't know he's going to show up and commit a robbery, and Panny Ann is there as a victim. And he said, the inmate said, he releases him because he knows him. He put a gun to his head and says, "I know your family and I can make them suffer, so keep your mouth shut." Kojak buys this as a story. He says, "Good enough." Okay. And whether he buys it or not, he's going to make a much better witness being not charged with murder. Yeah. So this is one of those, even if you don't believe it, you go, "Well, tell you what, you're going to get a free fucking pass, but for that, you're going to do every cocksucking thing we want you to do, or we're going to charge you." Right. So that's what they end up doing here. So he's going to be a witness because I don't believe this fucking guy. No. I just don't. No. Something's up. I don't think he got anything out of it. I think he was terrified and just thought, if I do nothing, then I can't screw anything up.
He's been fishing with the guy. He's been out with the guy. He
were fishing
knows
the
what
night
this
before.
guy's right. He knows what he's capable of.
That's what I mean. Even the guy said, "You know what I'm capable of. Mm-hmm. You know me." So anyway, Panny Ann is freed with no charges. That's it. Just free, nothing. So he did spend 18 months in jail, though, before he told the truth, he said, because he was so scared. 18 months in jail worth of scared. His
Well,
lawyer...
it's because he knew that he did something. He knows he's culpable of something.
Absolutely.
That's why he got 18 months.
And Kojak's kid, the prosecutor, said this was real, actual fear of two boogeymen. The boogeymen were the Williamson brothers. So that's fair. He also explained at trial when he testifies later on, Panayan, that he came forward with this info after about 3 years all the way because he discovered that Rodney and Dana were the only two persons involved with the crime. He said before that, Panayan thought there was a number of other people involved in the crime and that those unidentified men were going to help carry out a threat. He thought there was like a whole... he thought there was a whole network of people, he said. But then once he realized it's just these two fucking morons and no one's going to do anything, he said then he decided to talk about it, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, Rodney Williamson, they get him before a grand jury and tell him that he is the target of their investigation. And he says, quote, "They've been jerking my chain since April of last year. My brother has never admitted to me that he did the crime, and I didn't help him plan the crime." And his lawyer says, quote, "Do not visit the sins of one brother against another." Okay. He's innocent, I tell you, innocent. 1992, the brothers are charged, both of them, finally, with all their charges. The Williams are indicted on 17 counts each, by the way.
Holy shit.
Including extortion for trying to silence Panayan by threatening his family.
Yeah.
So there's even that. Panayan then told Kojak here, the elder Kavanaugh, that he wanted to write a book about this ordeal. Panayan's too dumb to figure out what's going on here. He's not writing a book. I'm sorry. What fucking book is he going to write? What color by numbers crayon
what
on the back of a fucking paper bag?
Fascinating that we need to be riveted to every word of what he's got to write.
Well, so fascinating from his point of view. Yeah, he's just a moron, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. He wants to do that. Then he asked Kojak for his autograph. And told Kojak, "You got a friend for life here." Yeah. Gee, great. Thanks scumbag who was possibly involved in a murder and a shooting of a 2-year-old and hangs out with people who kicked a fucking baby to death. This is great. Yeah, can't wait.
Come out on the 4th of July. I'll see you there.
We'll go fishing too. Can't wait. Yeah. Let me join you guys next time. So Dana here, now his trial comes up. They're going to be tried separately. Dana's is first. The opening here from the prosecutor, this is fucking heart-wrenching here because it's a few years later. Now Carl's 9 years old by the time this trial happens. Boy. And he says, quote, "There's another witness you didn't hear from because he's a child and he's a baby. He's still a baby. He's just 9 years old. He saw this piece of bathrobe around his mother's neck. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that how I know this is because Yvonne Rutherford, who was helping care for Carl at this point, came on the witness stand and told you, among other things, the worst thing I had to do was tell this little boy that his mama died because he doesn't know because he was 2 when it happened. So he asks every once in a while about it. Prosecutor said, and this is what he was doing. He's putting a gag around his toy's mouth, and that's not right. Ooh. He's reenacting shit. He's showing stuff. And he used his hand like a knife was in it and was stabbing at the doll.
Oh, my God.
What does this tell us? That he was witness to everything that happened that night, including his mother's location in the hallway. His mother losing her life in the hallway that night, and Donna Decker fought for her life that night. So this kid is reenacting the fucking murder of his mother on his dolls. This kid's going to need serious therapy. That's how everybody watch Dexter? It's exactly how Dexter got started. We cannot, this poor guy, I'm not saying this kid's a serial killer. I'm saying I really hope the adults get this kid help so he's not fucking tortured in his head. Because that's horrible. So the state presents testimony from 3 different inmates who were incarcerated with Dana. These inmates testify regarding tons of shit that he bragged to everybody about. He's a bragger. He likes to tell everyone how tough he is, Dana.
Yeah, he knows where he's at, and he knows he's got to get some sort of respect or he's going to get beat up.
Well, yeah, instead he got these guys testifying against him. So
that's a problem.
Kind of the opposite problem. The inmates provide testimony about their conversations with him in which He recounted the details of the crimes he committed at the Decker house. One inmate, Patrick O'Brien, he was also the prison's award winner for most Irish inmate that year. He won that in addition to his testimony. He testifies regarding Dana's killing of the 4-year-old child, because he talks about this. And but because O'Brien's testimony, it's a long story, but he says in his testimony that he shared a cell with Dana for approximately 8 days. During that time, they discussed the crimes in which Dana was charged. Apparently, Dana told O'Brien that his victims had been shot and stabbed and that there was very little evidence against him. Several times during the discussions, Dana implicated his brother Rodney Williamson was also in on the crime, but eventually he admitted to being the gunman and stabbing Donna Decker himself. He also told O'Brien that with Rodney's help, he was still hunting the Deckers in order to prevent them from testifying. Yes.
Jesus.
He also bragged about kicking a 4-year-old, and we'll talk about here. It gets worse. With respect to what caused Rodney and appellant to commit this crime, or Dana, I mean, Dana tells this O'Brien guy that he knew Robert Decker was a contractor and that Robert Decker had large sums of cash because he recently received the first payment to build several new houses. So he's going to keep it in the house in cash rather than a bank where you would normally keep something like that.
It was in a note, and he put it in the bank, you idiot.
Fuck, man. Dana then explained to this O'Brien guy that Panny Ann was unaware of his plan to rob Robert Decker, but he didn't think Panny Ann would turn him in because Panny Ann was scared of him. Uh-huh. So he actually reiterates that he didn't know when it was coming or that it was coming, actually. Dana tells O'Brien that because Panny Ann was so scared because of these threats, and these threats gave a lot of credence because he previously killed a 4-year-old. You know how he says he did it? With a baseball bat. This is the first time this has come out in 30 years, 25 years. He said he beat this kid with a baseball bat.
Do you think that's how he did it?
Probably. A stick. Maybe they came across a bat or something and said, I would say so. He has no reason to lie about it now. That's not more impressive than kicking one to death, is it?
No. Is it more callous and less personal?
I think, anything where you're not using a weapon is going to be the most personal possible. To beat someone to death with your bare hands and your that's a lot. That's a lot.
Is it more, is it grosser to use a weapon to beat a 4-year-old to death? I think it might be.
Well, I mean, I think it's grosser because you don't need a weapon for a 4-year-old.
Right. Yeah.
It's a 4-year-old, so you could just, you don't even.
I think that makes
it more necessary.
Disgusting.
So that makes it more disgusting, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, we're really splitting hairs when we're talking about.
At the end of it, there's a dead 4-year-old.
There's a dead 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So, it really kind of apples and oranges.
Wow, man.
Doesn't really matter. So it's fucking bad. They also present circumstantial evidence linking Dana to the crime. They present evidence demonstrating that Dana owned a hat similar to the hat found following the murder. Uh-huh. They got that. And that evidence linking Dana and his brother to the utility belt found in the back of Panny Ann's truck. The utility belt had on it the keys to the handcuffs that were used to bind Robert and Carl Decker.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Robert Decker says that he has no doubt he can identify the attacker by listening to his voice. Uh-huh. So he talked a lot. I know exactly what his voice sounds like. He said, quote,
forget it, ever.
I'll never forget it, is his quote in court.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
So now they have Dana Williamson there, and they told Dana Williamson to read a script aloud of the intruder's words in court so Decker and the rest of the court could hear his voice. Uh-huh. But after consulting with attorneys, he chose not to because he doesn't have to.
Yeah, and I don't want it.
I don't want to. He's like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Well, even if he didn't do it, the guy could say, yep, that's the voice, and it would be hugely powerful to the jury. So that's you can't win in that situation.
Nope.
Do you think he's going to sit up there and go, oh, fuck, it's not him. It's not him, everybody. He was right. That guy's right. Sorry, never mind. Everybody go home now. Judge, can you bang your thingy there and call it a day because we got the wrong guy?
He's a little more Southern, what I heard. That ain't it.
That ain't it, man. So either way, now the hat is the only physical evidence that they really have. Straw cowboy hat. They believe that Donna Decker knocked it off the head of her attacker at the time, and then he put it on later. The police detective testified that at this point that the hat was Williamson's. Williamson said it wasn't his hat. Relatives said it looked like a hat that Dana Williamson always wore. Mm-hmm. But then at trial, they had a big OJ moment where they're like, let him try on the hat. Let's see. He steps up in front of the jury and tries to put this ridiculous hat on, and it doesn't fit.
Okay.
Now, my point is this. It doesn't say, I can't find whether it's too big or too small.
Right. There was a ninja hat underneath that.
Thank you. If it's too big, that would probably be for a reason, because he had a ninja suit on underneath it. And if it's too small, then, I mean, how the fuck would he have gotten it over the ninja thing? So either way, the jury deliberates for 8 hours over this because there's so many charges to go over. So there's a lot. And they find him guilty, Dana Williamson. Oh, yes. Guilty of first-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and tons of armed robbery, burglary, extortion. Yeah. You fucking name it. He is up for the death penalty here.
Yeah.
Dana is certainly up for the death penalty. The Deckers were very happy. Donna Decker's niece said, "This is the happiest day of my life. I'm very, very happy. He is just an animal." So I would say he is an animal, Dana Williamson. This guy's a fucking asshole.
He's pretty bad.
Sentencing comes around. There's a lot of aggravating factors, plenty. Number one, he's been previously convicted of another capital felony.
Yeah.
Or of a felony involving the use or threat of violence to another person. The capital felony was committed while Williamson was engaged or was an accomplice in the commission of an attempt to commit burglary, robbery, and kidnapping. And the capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. The judge rejects the aggravating circumstances that the murder was committed in cold, calculated, and premeditated manner, saying that he didn't know who was in the fucking house at the time, so he couldn't have been that, as well as 2 statutory mental mitigating circumstances that he rejected as well. He did find evidence supporting a number of non-statutory mitigating factors and gave each factor some or little weight as much as he wanted. The jury here comes in. Well, let's just see here. The jury comes in and says, "You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty in the electric chair."
Oh, Jesus.
Electric chair. They vote 11-1.
To Bundy him. Yeah.
To Bundy him, yes. The trial court says, yes, they do that. They sentence him to death plus 13 life sentences.
What? That's the most I've ever heard.
13 life sentences. Just gave him life for every other fucking charge, pretty
Holy
much. Banged
shit.
him right out. That is...
Dahmer only got 900 years.
Wow. Death plus 13 life sentences is a shitload.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, is that like we're getting you back for that dead 4-year-old still?
That's certainly bringing that up.
And you're getting no sympathy from a jury when you fucking stabbed a woman to death, shot a 2-year-old for no fucking reason whatsoever. Didn't need to shoot the 2-year-old. That's crazy. That's crazy. So next up is Rodney's trial. He's got a whole separate kind of trial, man. Yeah. Rodney is claiming complete innocence. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All about my brother. He says, this is amazing. His lawyer says he's been many things in 40 years. A carny, a drifter, a would-be writer.
Yeah.
But he's not a murderer. Tell you that much right now. That's one thing he's not. He ends up testifying on his own behalf. And it is a fucking party, man. It's like he has a 3-hour cross-examination with Brian Kavanaugh, Kojak's son.
Yeah.
Where he basically tried to say, listen, man, that guy's lying, and then he threatened him, and then all this shit added up to these people blaming me, and I didn't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
It's threats, it's lies, it's innuendo, it's all bullshit. Okay. I'm not having it right there. And then the prosecutor, he and Kojak's kid are like yelling at each other at one point. At one point, they got so hostile that the judge called in extra deputies to be in the courtroom in case they attacked each other while they were on the stand. That's how bad it was here. Kavanaugh, the prosecutor, reads from typewritten diary entries and letters written by this guy here, by Williamson, by Rodney. And one of them is, quote, you're reading this guy's bad poetry in court, which is unbelievable. He says, quote, Hares, they run with other hares, and wolves, they run with their like. Killers run in packs and pairs, in pairs and packs they strike. That's what he said. That's a really strange thing to fucking just write as poetry. Kavanaugh said, did you write this? Is this yours? Because it's in your journal. Rodney said, quote, I do not do poetry.
I don't do that.
Then he said, if I had, that sounds publishable, and I would have made some money at it, huh?
Okay.
No, that's not publishable. What money are you going to make out of a fucking 3-4 line stupid hacky Jeffrey Dahmer type of... This is something Ted Bundy would have wrote.
Right.
Like scribbled in one of his college notebooks or some bullshit. This is asinine. That's wow. He did, though, admit to writing a story outline about the kidnapping, murder, and ripoff of some drug dealers.
Oh.
A scenario he said he thought of after reading some other novels. He's like, I'm just a hack. I'm not a killer. I'm just real hacky, right? I just take other people's premises.
What other people do, and I'm doing it my way, which is...
I Frankenstein them all together and make a big old pile of Voltron shit all mashed together.
Take other people's work and do it worse. And
that just is bad. It's real bad. So he wrote all of that in the scenario, the prosecutor noted, was very similar, the scenario in the story, of what happened at the Decker home. Mm-hmm. Dana Williamson burst in wearing a ninja suit, mask, and cowboy hat, tied up Robert Decker and the father and all that. Williamson, a small, pale man with a receding hairline, this is how the press calls him. This is great. A small, pale man with a receding hairline and uneven mustache. He's also bad at shaving, is what they said. And he leaned forward in the witness stand. Keep in mind, what is he doing right now?
Intimidating.
He's being cross-examined.
Yeah, by Kojak's son.
In a murder case.
Right, yeah.
He is the accused murderer. So he is
aggressive as fuck.
On the stand. This guy, the prosecutor gives him all of this shit, tells him, you did all this matches this story. Williamson leans forward and said, are you trying to make an accusation? Yeah, motherfucker. What do you think we're all here for? Yes.
Afraid so.
There are formal accusations written out. We did a grand jury. 18 people decided to accuse. There's so much accusation here. So much. It's not even funny.
Did he say that? Did he turn?
He said,
yeah.
He said, are you trying to make an accusation? And he said, yes, I am, is what Kavanaugh said. And Williamson said, you're taking it out of context. You're telling lies by telling half the truth.
Okay.
Kavanaugh said, you felt it was significant enough to write it down in your diary. And then he asks Williamson about another literary attempt. He's just very prolific, this Williamson, with his literary attempts. This time, it's an outline for a novel that he had been writing before his arrest. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I would think. There's going to be novels coming from these morons. The plot details a home invasion of a drug dealer's house. The people in the house are tied up, money is stolen, and drugs left scattered about the house so the dealer would be reluctant to tell police about the crime. Okay. They said, doesn't that sound like fucking
like what
something?
You wish this was?
Williamson refused to admit any similarities to that. That doesn't sound like what happened at all. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't sound like anything. So then Kavanaugh said that's where real life and storylines diverge, is what that is.
That's right.
And Williamson then got angry and accused Kavanaugh of trying to browbeat him into cooperation during the police investigation. It's not even question answer at this point. They just get in an argument.
Yeah.
Just a courtroom argument. And he said, Kavanaugh gets all mad and yells, and he says, tell me what else I did. He said, did I beat up your body? Did I take out a big rubber hose? So he's like, I didn't fucking force you into saying shit, you liar. And then Williams said, quote, you threatened my life and my freedom. I don't think anybody that's sane and speaks English could have taken it any other way. Okay. You were being accused of murder. Yes, you fucking idiot. You're being accused. You're being called a bad person. All of these things are happening to you right now because there's dead people.
Right.
You fucking dildo. So all of this happens, and then that's the last testimony, and we go to the jury. So the jury goes in pretty much with that fresh in their head. This huge exchange.
Yeah.
Apparently, Rodney Williamson was like a real, well, what do you think type of guy on the stand. Like, what are you making accusations? So 4 hours of deliberations here.
Jesus.
4 hours. They don't even have a cowboy hat for this guy. They got nothing, basically. They come back. He's guilty of first-degree murder and 16 other felonies.
Oh, boy.
So, again, so now they're both convicted. And Bob Decker here, Robert, he says, I feel really happy that it's finally over with. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't blame him being fucking tired of it. Panny Ann was in court. Panny Ann tried to, talk to Bob Decker.
Really?
And he said that they said all Decker gave him was a cold hello. He'd said hello to him, but that's it. Panny Ann was telling the press he wants to get together with Decker to make things right. What are you, nuts?
You're not coming over.
How the come over and watch Dallas. No, we tried this already, and what happened? We all ended up with bullets in our fucking head, and my wife's dead. Go away.
I still haven't seen that episode, you dick.
No, and your venison was shit. I'm not going to lie. It was tough. It was tough. I didn't care for it. So either way, sentencing comes around, and it is death penalty on the table here.
Uh-oh.
They come back. You, sir, may fuck off. Life sentence, no parole.
Okay,
life. Yeah. Without parole. Yeah, but they didn't kill him because they said he didn't.
He
was never even in the house, they said.
Right.
By even the witness in there said he was never in the house. So it's real. I mean, yes, he's responsible, but death penalty responsible and go to jail forever responsible are a little bit different.
Entirely different, yeah.
There has to be, for a jury, there has to be some stank on death penalty.
Yeah.
Has to be something.
Yeah.
He never even fired a gun is difficult to give a death penalty on, That's hard.
He didn't even see the people.
No. Now, the funny thing is, Dana appeals his case, right?
Yeah.
He appeals his case, and it's so fucking funny because one of his original defense attorney team,
right,
a guy named Charlie Johnson, he's just out talking to the press about this guy. I don't know if once the case is over, once you're not the client, you can talk shit about him. I didn't know that was a law. I thought it was all kind of... He said to the paper, quote, he's guilty as sin. What?
I did all I could, but that guy is a piece of shit.
Guilty as sin. He was saying that during the appeal. I think he's guilty. Yeah, I think he's guilty as sin. I represented him, and he did it like a motherfucker. So, what the shit, man? So, the problem with this is he's got a good case on appeal because the case against him was never really strong. The only witness against him was Panny Ann, and that guy they're saying is he spent over a year in jail as a suspect on the crime, and they're going to cast a big cloud that they let him go just to testify because they wanted the Williamson boys so bad.
Yeah.
They let this guy skate on it and shit like that. So, yeah, it's difficult. Dana Williamson, obviously sitting on death row there, he wants to, this is when DNA is first becoming big here, and he wants to he wants that hat DNA tested.
Okay.
He said, let's test that hat for DNA to make sure my DNA is on it, and we'll see. So apparently they were searching all the death row cases at that point for anything with DNA in it that they could prove or disprove shit with. They're testing it out. Let's see what's going on here. Now, a lot of the death row inmates didn't want DNA testing. 4 of the inmates refused the procedure.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, because it's going to be more. Exactly. That's going to be more murders for me. They fucking know.
Yeah.
Think about how frightening that is.
Yeah.
Who else did you kill, motherfucker?
Right.
There's more? What did you do? 4? Yeah. It was like 4 out of 8 said no.
That's too many.
That is terrifying. Holy shit. So they're saying if it comes back negative, it could help him a lot, obviously. But the problem is that they, when it comes to it, they say, well, here we go. His attorney says the hat is absolutely critical, I think. At some point along the line, you're going to have a court or a judge who realizes this isn't a death row case. Okay, now, for some reason, he never ends up, I don't think the DNA testing on the hat ever takes place. Or if it does, it's inconclusive because we never get a decisive, the hat said he did it or the hat said he wasn't there. Bullshit. Okay. Doesn't matter. Now, I don't know how he would have, if he had a mask on, first of all. So the DNA, right. I'm not sure. He's saying if it was my hat, I would have had DNA from it beforehand. But Do we know that really? Who the fuck knows? Either way, Dana is still on death row.
Not dead yet.
Still on death row.
30
He's been
years.
on death row for, 24 years, 26
Holy
years.
shit.
He's been sitting on death row. His brother is life without. His brother's still in there, too, from what I understand. Don't really know what happened to Bob Decker. I think Charlie Williamson died. The rest of the Williamsons, I'm not sure. And I just really, really hope that poor Carl is doing okay.
Yeah.
Because, fuck, that's traumatic.
That's brutal.
It's so brutal, too, that this guy lost his mom. And then he's like, I'm going to kill some kid's mom right in front of him.
He lost his mom. He knows what that feels like. And he took,
Yeah.
granted, I guess he tried to kill the kid too. But
yeah. He likes inflicting pain on people.
Yeah.
He enjoys it.
Yeah.
He fucking enjoys it, man. That's the thing. He goddamn likes it.
Horrible.
Now, after the whole deal, Kojak, the real Kojak, Kavanaugh Sr., he says, quote, "The criminal justice system comes out smelling like a rose. This was a beautiful case from beginning to end." That's a very Kojak way to put it, though.
Yeah.
This criminal justice system comes out smelling like a rose. I think they must have really based Kojak on him a lot.
Yeah.
I want to know if he has lollipops or not.
I want to know if he's bald.
No shit, right? And then his son said, quote, "I'm a very fortunate son."
Oh,
We know.
Credence, come on.
Yeah, come on. The problem that I see about this is, okay, here's my only issue with this. If you have detectives, if the normal homicide detectives went in there and said, hey, even though it goes against evidence and logic, we think Panny Ann was not involved. We think you should let him go, just no charges whatsoever, and charge the other guys and flip him. He would have probably said, are you out of your fucking minds?
Yeah. All right.
He was there. Bob Decker saw them whispering.
Yep.
He's fucking in on it.
Yeah.
But because his father, and I'm not making an accusation, I'm just saying logic of regular how human beings work, because his father, who is Kojak, who is so respected, who can't possibly make a mistake, because he tells him that, he does it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good or not. You know what I mean? Like,
who's to say, though? You know,
I don't think
we got a guy. We got a guy convicted of it. We got two of them.
That's what they looked at it like.
Yeah.
They looked at it like we're trading 2 for 1 here,
Right.
or we're trading the 1 for 2, and that makes sense. But at the same time, do you think that they thought that Panny Ann had no fucking knowledge or involvement that this was going to happen?
I'm sure they had a clue, right? They had to
Come
know
on.
something.
They fucking
He's
know.
Kojak, for Christ's sake.
That's
They're
what I
aware.
mean.
Yeah.
He knows, and I think they definitely try. In my opinion, I think they maybe tried to make it seem like he was less involved, so his testimony would be worth more, and a greater good type of thing here.
Yeah.
Look, we're getting a real bad guy off the streets.
2 of them, and at least we're getting 2 off the streets, because if we don't, then we're not getting any of them.
And nobody thought it was Panny Ann's idea to do this. No one said, oh, it must have been his idea, probably. Right. He was the mastermind here. Now, also, their house now it's not on the market. It's still occupied, but I found a picture of it. It's a fucking nice house that he built.
It's a good one, yeah.
It's a nice house, like I said, on over an acre. Right now, it's worth $692,300.
He built a damn good one.
Built a goddamn nice house. And because it's on such a large property, it's worth more than, like, it's one of the higher comps in the area because on such a large property. And, so there you go. That's Davie, Florida.
My God.
And just a crazy fucking case. Ninjas ninjas and straw hats and kids being kicked to death. This is fucking insane this week.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a lot. And that Panny Ann, too, they treated him like he was like falsely accused and let out on DNA or something. They treated him like he was exonerated, and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You were still in a house whispering to a murderer, like,
and
I don't like
certainly
that.
You know more than you're saying. Well, I'll put it at that. I don't know that he you know what I mean? I can't make an accusation,
No.
I guess,
I don't
but
know.
I can certainly say I believe he knows a lot more than what he gave us.
Yeah, just based on the fact that you go, hey, if you put yourself in that situation, you know he's in there. You hear gunshots. He's shooting a child. He murdered fucking Donna out in the hallway. He stabbed her. So he saw that. You didn't think to try to help. You didn't think to fucking to burst out of there, go to a neighbor's house, call the cops. You didn't think any of that shit. Like, I'm sorry, but this guy trusts you, obviously. Yeah. He's leaving you sitting there. I don't know, while he's going around trying to kill everybody, maybe come up behind him and bash his fucking skull in with a statue. You know what I mean? Give it a shot. Try.
Yeah, he watched Dallas and pointed Donna down the hallway to her death, for Christ's
There you go.
sake.
That's what I mean. He could have been like, even just... You know, get out of here.
Leave. Yeah.
Get out of here, call the cops. Get out of here, call the cops.
Go.
Something. Like, I feel like if I was him, even if I had nothing to do with it, I would never be able to sleep at night. I would feel like there is child blood on my hands at all fucking times. So either way, very disturbing. Davie, Florida. There you go. It gets weirder and fucking weirder and weirder and weirder. Absolutely. If you like that show, tell the world about it and get on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars on whatever app you're listening to. We don't know why, but it helps drive us up the charts. So help figure out how to feed that weird algorithm and help your boys out here. Also, follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. In addition to that, you can, why don't you head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
What's there, James?
Head over there. All sorts of shit. First of all, tons of merchandise, anything you could possibly want. There's new stuff up there. Coffee mugs to skateboards. You can't beat it. Get on there. Get that. In addition, though, tickets to live shows.
Oh, boy.
Regular live shows. I believe that Austin and, I know Oklahoma City's completely sold out. Austin, I think we have like some like holds that artist holds they call them that they give to us. We're gonna get rid of those and put those out. So there should be about 25 tickets coming out at some point between now and November. I don't know when they do. Hopefully someone will buy them and come to this thing.
Keep an eye on the website.
Keep coming, and then probably December we're going to announce the New Year's, the whole 2023 tour, and put those on sale and everything. But what you need to get, October 27th is the virtual live show.
Yes.
Tickets available right now, shutupandgivememurder.com or moment.co/smalltownmurder is where you get your tickets to that. What is a virtual live show?
What is it?
It's just like a live show, except we set everything up like we're on a stage in a theater, only instead of there an audience being there, there is a camera. And that camera is going to beam it out to everybody who is sitting in their houses and being the audience there instead. That's all it is. So it's a home live show, and it's fun shit.
Fantastic.
And we have so much fun, and everybody seems to really enjoy them. It's going to be a fun, funky Halloween theme show. Be spooky and weird and creepy, and it's available. It's the 27th, available for 7 days afterwards, so you can buy it October 27th and watch it every day for the next 7 days. You can wait a few days to watch it. You can do whatever the hell you want for it. I don't really care what you do with it for 7 days.
Watch it while you give kids candy.
There you go. You fucking bought it. So that's shutupandgivememurder.com is where you find all of that. Also, you want to definitely hook up with Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you're going to get everything, goddammit. You're going to get all of your bonus material there. So many bonus episodes. I'm telling you, you can binge just on the back catalog. It's like 150 episodes. Anybody $5 or a month, you're going to get all of those. And then every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes. One crime and sports and one small town murder. The crime and sports ones are very rarely about sports. They're always everybody in Patreon likes all of the Patreon content. You don't have to be like a fan of one or the other. It's all kind of the same thing. And this week, what we're going to talk about is a team called the Danbury Trashers for crime and sports. It's a hockey team owned by a mafioso. A mob guy bought his kid a hockey team, and guess what? They ran it like mob guys would run something. And then there's all sorts of, they got in trouble and federal crime, and it's a lot of fun.
Guess what? It was successful, too. That's crazy. That's
the other thing.
Mob
Weird,
guys
right?
are so successful with business. They're so good at it.
They make things work. That's what it is. And then for small town murder, we are going to do one of the biggies here. We're going to talk about the whole Heyman Lee, Adnan Syed serial phenomenon, that whole case. What happened to Heyman Lee? Where were you on January 13th, 1999, everybody? Where were you? Where were you? Because we'll talk all about that, and now that Adnan has been released, and we'll talk about what the theories are and what our theories are, because there's a few kind of standard set theories and then kind of some off, kind of oddball ones. We'll talk about them all.
Fringe
suspects,
theories.
Fringe theories. Maybe it was Adnan. Maybe it was, who the fuck knows? We don't know, but we will tell you what we know. this week, and we'll tell you what we think about it. That is, where is that? That is Patreon.
That's over at Patreon, yeah.
That's right. I figured I'd let you do it, but then I'm like, let's both do it.
Patreon.com/CrimeInSports.
That's right. Do that right now. Anybody $5 or above. It's a beautiful thing, and you know what else you're going to get? A shout out. You're going to get a shout out where Jimmie is going to say your name and not even saying it connected to like a terrible murder or anything. He'll just say it and fuck it up probably based on pronunciation, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's Jimmie, I need those names. They feel good to me. Feed me with the names. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Marissa Macaluso, Michelle Zabin, Annie King, and Harding and Catherine Clout. God damn it.
Thank you.
I almost got it. There's only a few I couldn't get
wonderful,
through.
Wonderful, peaceful. Well, they're just wonderful, Jimmie. You were overcome with emotion. You were overclamped.
Other producers this week are Salamanda. She says that Mike Carlo sucks farts, evidently. He's a bad person.
Wow. Sucks farts, eh?
I guess.
Well, that's a lot.
Rear Admiral Nelson Steinschweiker, I think. Douglas C. Niedermeyer. He's a sergeant of arms. Cody and Casey Ennis are celebrating their 8th anniversary, and she likes it. She likes the show a lot, and she likes it when he mispronounces her name during intercourse. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess he calls her Cassie. I don't know. Peyton Meadows, the WWE legend, the Shockmaster, Abe Schmuckler, happy hour at the Alligator Festival in Luling, Louisiana. Valerie Collins, Sarah De Leon is not having an easy life at the moment. Hang in there. It'll get better, I swear to
We're
Christ.
with you.
Supreme Court Justice Hiram Smales. I don't know. That's not real. Father of Judge Eliu Smales, evidently. Happy birthday, Big Dick Daddy Boss Man fucking Sir. That's from his wife, I guess, or
that's a lot.
He makes her say some awful things. Frank, the South African birdwasher, Steve Schnell, Janice Hill, Maud Author, Billy Hoyle, Tucker Virtue. Very funny.
That is from a bonus episode.
Yeah. Corporal Carl Kirshner, Jesse Martin Vigu, I think, Darian McClurg, Betsy Weeks, Peter Pissant Party Pants. Boy, oh boy. Kelly with no last name. Bethany Lawson. David Cervantes. Stephanie with no last name. John Starlin. Josh Weintraub, I think. Lauren Hersteck. Mike Mack. Joe Tugboat Kessling. Sylvia Perry. The Milkman OLC. Danny Shook. Ari Marie. Ari, maybe. Haley Spivey. Nasha Horn. Nashia, maybe. Amelia Williams. Meryl Cairo. Jimmie, take a breath. I will, for just one. Haley Kirstein, Annika Woodward, Gail Perry, Aaron with no last name, Connie Hansen, Rebecca Ann Callis, Patrick Reynolds, Matthew Hess, Ann Norvio, Molly Chapman, Jamaica Taylor, Catherine McIver, Ben Beauchert, I think, Tracy Judy, Jennifer Petrie, GFY, I guess that's go fuck yourself, Tori Golay, Rebecca Pullman, Anush, oh boy, Nego.
Get it, Jimmie.
Sheehan. Negotian?
You got that.
Brendan McKay, Matthew Ross, Christina Ledford, Chris Livingston, Selena Davis, David Griffin, Monique Hoffman, Linda McKinney, Michaela Caponera, David O., Paul Henderson, Lauren Hasey, I think GCSO Deputy Corey Matson. I don't know what that is. It's county. Could be anything. Garrison County. Who knows?
County Sheriff's Office.
That's what
it is. Sheriff's Office.
Michael McCallion, Scott Colligan, Caleb Marvin, Amber Bach. Okay, probably not. Brianna Walquist, Tiffany Wilson, Robert with no last name, Rand Mitchie, Chrissy DiMattia. It's Italian, is what it is. Anthony Adams, Jim and Nicole Bagay, Patty with no last name, Caleb's son, Serena Lasso, Tennessee Soup.
You do well with consonants. You're not good with vowels, I've noticed. That's your problem. It's more when the vowels are bunched up, you go, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do with that.
What I do now? Miranda Allen, Christy Gant, Heather Hunt, Jalinda Walker, Michelle Guerra, Dylan Sponseller, I think, Mackenzie Anderson, Jeff Ramsey, Dwayne Highfield, Irene S., Heather Morgan, Tanya Sanders, Jad Duca, Tay Lewis, Ashley Keepers, Alexandra Bennett, Preston Jones, Daryl Hunt, Tate Peterson, Kelly with no last name, Andrew Beneteau, Amanda Evans, Lisa Bingham, Tara Charles, Heather with no last name, Devin Higgins, Don Stiles Upoli, Beth Krim, Jessica McConville, Sweeze with no last name, Josh Engel, Christian Uri, Kelly Cute, Karen Rao, I think, Emily Larson, Michael Wetterland, Paris Simmons, Alyssa Bartosevich, Peter McMorris, Chris with no last name, Carmen Ortiz, Alex McDonald, Chelsea Hill Smorgs with no last name, Jarrett Brown, Dylan Self, Caroline Bracey, Ash with no last name, Tyra Brown, Anthony Baker, Haley with no last name, Brad Truel, I think, Deirdre Hart, Mac with no last name, Patrick Milam, Melanie Jenkins, Antonio Donofrio, Joel Wheeler, Josh with no last name, Kayla Flack, Cassie Mendoza, Logan with no last name, Robin, oh boy, Perry, Micah Nemella? No, I apologize. Aaron with no last name, Stephanie Chantel, Don Reed, Glenn Slater, Amanda Price, Ben Van Nort, Emily Trumbo, Warren Ann Mary Douglas, Stephen Ward, Shem the Wrench, Erica Jacobson, Havernick, M&G, nope, that's just MG, Emily Farrell maybe, David Sutherland, Samantha Root, Elizabeth Lindhoff, Broken Tire, Camden Carter, Jennifer, I imagine that's from Boston, Chadwick Harper, Trepp and Gabbard, James, Connor Knapp, Lar Nicholas, Ginger Lee, Sarah Prefers, Juliet Vincent, Allie Weber, Jenny Baruce, Cheyenne Liddy, I think Liddy maybe, Shauna Hollingsworth, Destiny Wood, Stephen Vidura, Debbie Girl, Frankie, Sarah Murphy, Lapaki with no last name, Casey Harak, Jim Pearson, Trent Johnson, Jamie Perry, James Pierce, Ivan Solis, Zoe Clark, Matt Nace, Brad Hubble, and all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for all that you do for us. Everything from social media to live shows to Patreon. Just telling people thank you so much for everything you do for us.
Thank you all.
If you want to find us on social media, very easy to do that. You can go to shutupandgivememurder.com. There's links to all of that, or just Google search Small Town Murder Podcast Host. You can't miss us there. What you do want to miss, though, is don't name your kid Robert Menzies. That's a thing. Keep that out. Yeah. Sidestep that one. That said, thank you so much for joining us. And until next week, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.